himself looks a couple of years down the line, maybe he would be able to handle it a little bit better this time around. But if Liverpool had any reservations, I would imagine that that would be one of them. Bournemouth finished 6th last season, 1 position and 3 points behind Liverpool in the league. They qualified for next season's Europa League. What represents success for Andoni Iraola this time around, Crook?
It's a brilliant question. Winning the title, I guess, would be the aspiration, because Arne Slot achieved that in his first season. Jurgen Klopp won it as well. So I think that there'll be the high standards that he'll be asked to try and achieve. Obviously, the bare minimum is Champions League football. And in fairness, Arne Slot did achieve that, but they can't afford to lose the number of games that they did last season. Actually, if you go back to the start of his tenure at Bournemouth, what was it? No wins in 9. Few people were suggesting maybe Bournemouth had made a mistake. In fairness, the hierarchy there never felt that. They saw what he was doing day in, day out in training. They looked at the data. They knew results would improve, and they did. He can't go 9 games at Liverpool without winning, because straight away the pressure is going to be on him from that expectant and...
From the Toffees to the Tractor Boys, the Eagles to the Seagulls, Gunners, Bees, Hammers and Magpies, Premier League teams have got a load of crazy nicknames. Ever wondered where they came from? Let's start with Everton. They're dubbed the Toffees, but why? Well, because when the club was formed, just down the road there were 2 local toffee shops. Ye Ancient Everton Toffee House and Mother Noblet's Toffee Shop were big fan favourites. Next, they say if you can't beat 'em, join 'em, and that's exactly what Ipswich Town did when it came to their nickname. The term Tractor Boys used to be chanted by their opponents as a way of putting the team down for their farming background. But during one game back in the late 90s, Ipswich were 1-0 up and they decided to flip the script. 1-0 to the Tractor Boys, they sang, and a new nickname was born. Let's head to Leicester, famous for more than just a red, well, orangey cheese and Jamie Vardy. Leicestershire's also the birthplace of fox hunting, hence the Foxes. Next up, turns out apples are not the only fruit that don't fall far from the tree. Bournemouth's nickname, the Cherries, comes from the fact the club's stadium was originally built right next to a bunch of cherry orchards. This next story actually involves 2 club nicknames. It started with Crystal Palace. They were having an absolute nightmare run back in the early 70s. They'd been relegated after a terrible spell, and manager Malcolm Allison decided enough was enough. He wanted a new nickname, something strong, fast and destined for success. Something exactly like an eagle. But there's more to this one. Brighton were in search of a nickname too, and Palace finally gave them what they needed. In a heated match between the two back in 1976, Palace fans began chanting, "Eagles, Eagles." And some clever Brighton fans came up with the perfect reply, "Seagulls, Seagulls." Not all club nicknames have a crazy story though. Take the Gunners. That just comes from the fact a group of munitions workers in the Royal Arsenal factory in Woolwich set up the club in 1886. On the flip side, some nicknames seem simple, but there's a bit more to them, like West Ham. The Hammers is actually nothing to do with the ham part of the name. It comes from the fact the club used to be called Thames Ironworks FC and was made up of workmen and shipbuilders. So next time the away end's chanting their crazy nickname, you'll now know exactly where it came from.
Good evening, this is Thankful Blitz Friday on talkSPORT. Ade Oladipo alongside Mr. Rory Jennings. We are just 6 days away now until the World Cup kicks off. What shape are England in heading into their first warm-up game against New Zealand tomorrow night? Loads of the other big boys are in action as well. France and Spain both played, yet France getting beat by Ivory Coast, by the way, which might be a bit of an upset leading into the World Cup. Remember their first game against Senegal. Portugal and Brazil step out tomorrow. We'll see who's looking sharp and who's not. France not looking sharp, but it doesn't matter. There's a new Liverpool boss in town. Andoni Iraola has officially been announced as the new manager at Anfield. Is he the man to deliver success on Merseyside? I hope so. And some huge names are circling in the transfer market. Some news about Rio Engamoa and Michael Elise. This is Thankful Footballers Friday on talkSPORT. Phone lines are open. 03717 2233. They don't actually ever close. 03717 223344. We are talking England. We're going to talk a bit of transfers as well. So make sure you start phoning because the phone lines are going to be busy. You can text us as well. 81089. Mr. Jennings.
Yes, sir.
6 days away until the World Cup. How are we feeling?
I've got cup fever now.
Do you really have?
Yeah, I've got cup fever. It's taken over. This is a joy, by the way. It's great to see you. I love this show.
It's a great show.
Friday night talkSPORT. It's a dream, isn't it?
It really is.
It's a dream. And yeah, there's a spring in my step. Delighted that the football season over. Delighted that the Premier League season is finished. The worst season that I've ever had following Chelsea. The worst it's ever been. Some terrible moments that will live long in the memory as being abysmal. Yeah. Abysmal Liam Rossini, abysmal Callum McFarlane. But now that's all confined to the ash heap of history. I am so World Cup. I'm so ready for this. Yeah,
it's just sensational. Like even I got excited the other day watching that Nike advert. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I did see. They've got everyone on there. Yeah.
Cole Palmer's in it.
Yeah, that's an error, isn't it?
It's a big error.
It's an error. But is it who's made the error?
Surely he asked them to edit him out. Like surely his agent gets onto them and says, "Like, we've made a bit of a mistake here." He's not exactly in the team.
No, but who's made the error? Is it
Thomas Tuchel?
Yeah, exactly.
Here we go.
Exactly. Thomas Tuchel's made the error here, hasn't he?
I don't know if he has.
It's so foolish to not have. Like, you know, if you have a situation which England could well end up in, say we're in the last 8, we're in Miami, we're playing Brazil, we go 1-0 down. You don't have to imagine particularly hard here, right? We've gone 1-0 down, Cunha's scored a blinder.
Well, that's imagining, actually, that part.
Oh, mate, think about that goal he scored against Arsenal.
Yeah, I don't think Cunha's going to start, but yeah.
Right, whoever pings one
Vinicius Jr., let's play it again.
Vinicius Jr.'s pinged one in, 20 minutes to go. I just don't see how having Cole Palmer, even if you want to call it as an emergency, Cole Palmer as a Hail Mary.
Agreed.
How is that not an option now? And say Cole Palmer's not the option. How is Phil Foden not the option? And say Phil Foden and Cole Palmer aren't the option. How is Morgan Gibbs-White not the option?
Yeah. How you don't look on the bench and see Cole Palmer and know that he can change a game and not think of just that? Regardless of the fact he's had a bad season, Cole Palmer standards, I agree. He should be on the bench. But seeing that Nike advert, one of the best Nike adverts I've seen for a long time. Everyone's in it.
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian's in it. Central C's in it. Kim Kardashian, don't act like...
No, is Kim Kardashian in it?
Kim Kardashian's in it. Kate Scott's in it. Everyone's in it. Drogba, Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Who's Scott?
Kate Abdo.
Oh, Kate Abdo. Mate, why'd you keep using people's names as if I'm supposed to know? I don't know.
She's one of the biggest presenters in the world.
Kate Abdo, I'm very aware of.
Okay, yeah.
Kate Abdo makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Why is Kim Kardashian in it?
Sponsored by Nike, I'm guessing.
Kim Kardashian?
Kim Kardashian. Haaland's in it.
Yeah, I understand why Erling Haaland would be in a football advert. I understand. I don't understand why Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, I was a bit like, what is she doing as well?
Yeah. Kim Kardashian, I appreciate, is incredibly famous. Right, I get it.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think that she's famous to the people. Like, I don't really know who Kim Kardashian is.
Yeah, but
really.
Well, you got to look at what the World Cup is. She must be one of the most famous people in America. She'll be more known to the American audience than some of those people in that advert.
Do you think?
Of course.
If Kim Kardashian was...
You think more Americans know who Cole Palmer is over Kim Kardashian?
Kim Kardashian could quite easily have been on the tube sitting opposite me on the way to talkSPORT today, and I wouldn't have known. Would you? Would you know what she looked if you saw her?
Embarrassingly, yes.
I can imagine you glued to At Home with the Kardashians, or The Only Way is Kardashian.
I once was. All right, you're listening to Thankful, but it's Friday and it's almost here, isn't it? We are less than 1 week away from the 2026 World Cup, and the best place to be is, of course, locked into talkSPORT.
The same familiar story has come back to haunt England again.
Well, we have now been consistently back in the matches that matter. So it's the last step that we haven't been able to do.
If you don't get the right person in place, I think some of the really good work that Gareth's done could go out the window.
To win it with England, it is a dream come true for me. So if there's still anyone doubting, We have to convince them on the pitch.
Unbelievable! A Jude Bellingham overhead kick.
We have an amazing crop of players.
With England, we've always got a chance.
It's Kane and it's shown.
He is the most important player for sure. Goal scoring is just relentless.
Saka turning it onto his left foot. Oh, it's a beautiful goal.
The reason why they went for Thomas Tuchel is not to maintain the status quo, was to win.
We will try to go all the way. We will try to win this tournament.
We're going to win the World Cup, X?
Absolutely.
And so to the next instalment of the story.
You know, it's fever pitch in this country, right? We're obviously obsessed with football. Imagine what it's like in Brazil right now.
Yeah, I think.
Imagine what it's like in Brazil.
I think every nation's the same, don't you?
Yeah.
We're all we're all like a coiled spring.
But some nations, it's their secondary sport, isn't it? Like, you know, football over here is number one by a million miles. Same as Brazil.
Yeah.
I guess same as France.
Argentina have got to be buzzing. You know what I mean? As holders, going into it as holders, going into it with an expectation. Lionel Messi's final World Cup.
Yeah.
They've got to be like really, really focused, buzzing. And do you know who else would be massively buzzing? You know, because of the expansion of the World Cup. Now, you can debate whether you think it's a good expansion or whether there's a dilution that's occurred to the tournament. I'd probably edge towards the latter.
Yeah, I can understand the expansion, but I understand that. Yeah.
Say you're one of the countries that has benefited from the expansion. So say, for example, you're Jordan.
Yeah.
You're Jordanian. Jordan haven't ever been in a World Cup. This is the first ever World Cup.
Agreed.
Like Cape Verde.
Yeah.
Congo.
Haiti.
This has got to be a buzz like no other, hasn't it?
Yeah, no.
Because you're effectively part of history. You're witnessing history. The first time your nation, I'm sure you're very patriotic, first time your nation is ever on these shores playing in a World Cup is now, and you can be part of it. I just can't wait. I'm really, really excited. It's a shame England are led by a German going into the tournament, but that aside, I'm completely embracing the tournament.
Yeah, we are going to hear from said German a bit later. Thomas Tuchel will be speaking to our England correspondent, Faker Roberts. We have been also given the information about Kim Kardashian and why she's in the advert. She is sponsored by Nike. And she is the 7th most followed person on Instagram. That's incredible. By the way.
What's she sponsored for Nike for? Is she a sportswoman? No. Was she originally sport? No. Is that why she's
Don't get me into what she was originally in, please.
Do you know what she's famous for?
Yeah. Yeah, we're not.
No, wait, I didn't know this.
No, yeah.
Was she originally a sportsman?
No, she was not.
No. Why are you laughing? What was? Oh, did she do?
I don't know. Can we get to 9 o'clock, please, and then Watershed, and then talk about what she is more famous for? Okay. Squad announced. Excited, obviously. We take on New Zealand tomorrow. Potentially, by the way, Alex Scott. This might throw a few people off, by the way. Yes, Alex Scott. Bournemouth Alex Scott, who might be leaving the club because he's such a good player. But he will potentially be in the starting 11 for England versus New Zealand. Shouldn't it just be players in the squad, the World Cup squad now? Like Rio Ngamoa's out there, Alex Scott's out there. Like, surely you want to nail down and drill down your starting 11 and then the next best 5 or 6 to come off the bench. What's the kid who's not going to play in the World Cup? What's the coming
Yeah, I kind of see where you're coming from on this. I get what you're saying. The justification is potentially, you know, if an injury were to occur to an outfield player now, will the backup players be the likes of? Yeah. Well, so you can't just call up anyone. So, for example, if say Jarrell Quansah got a really, really bad injury in training, he can't call up Harry Maguire. Is that what it means?
No.
Okay. Well, then I guess
what I don't get is say Alex Scott has an absolute worldie for England against New Zealand. I mean, just takes on everyone, scores, top corner, bang. He's capable, by the way, under 21 international capable. What's the point? He can't play in the World Cup anyway. Do you know what I mean? There's no point to it. I mean,
I don't quite understand what's in it for Tuchel, but the motivation is perhaps for the longevity. The furtherance of England is better when Alex Scott has already had these preparations. Alex Scott will become a better player, a better international player, a more experienced international player, a player that is ready to be part of an England side in the future because of these experiences. But I just don't know what's in it for Tuchel.
Yeah, I get training camps. I understand that. Normally you do the training camps, and it is the youngsters versus the senior pros. I get all that, and you take them out to America and you immerse them in it, and so eventually when they get called up for the 2030 World Cup, they're ready because they've been out there for some. I don't understand why they're playing the friendlies. And look, that might not happen, but that's what we're hearing at talkSPORT, that Alex Scott could play. But I do find it very, very interesting. But what a moment for the likes of Alex Scott, Rio Ngamoa, just to be out there.
Yeah.
Just to be out there and just sort of take it all in.
Yeah, it's an amazing. Look, this is why There is nothing quite like international knockout tournament football.
Nothing.
Like it is spectacular, this. Yeah. And I think we get to the stage now when the World Cup is on the horizon, less than a week away, when whatever opinions that some people may have, whatever opinions you or I may have regarding this tournament, if you feel like perhaps there has been too much of an approach, too much of a desire to extract as much money from fans as possible, if you're not happy with the expansion of the tournament, if you're not happy with the location of the tournament or the politics around, now, all of that, justified as it is, let's just talk about football now, because the tournament is upon us. Yeah. History is about to be made. Are the Argentinians going to retain a World Cup? Is Lionel Messi going to do it? Is Cristiano Ronaldo going to help take Portugal their first ever World Cup? That midfield they have. By the way, Ade, do you know what I did? I did a World Cup combined 11, a midfield of every single player going to the tournament. And I had an all-Portuguese midfield.
I think it's one of the deepest midfields in World Cup history. I'm going that far. Vitinha, Neves, Bruno Fernandes,
and Bernardo
Silva.
It's ridiculous.
That's a joke.
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
That's great.
It's an absolute joke. Like two of them have just played Arsenal off the park in the European Cup final.
Probably going to win the PFA Player of the Year.
Yeah, one of them
is maybe the most underrated midfielder of all time.
Yeah.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
Unbelievable.
Some news coming out of Scotland, by the way. We'll touch on it a bit later, but Martin O'Neill has been announced as the permanent manager of Celtic. Congratulations to him. It means we probably won't see him in the studios on Mondays, as he normally does with White and Jordan, but congratulations. Won the league. Rightly so, they've offered him a year contract to keep going, take him into Europe and see what he can do. All right, we're going to chat a bit more England ahead of Thomas Tuchel's press conference, what we'll speak about later this hour. Let us know how confident you are about this England squad going into the World Cup and going into these friendlies as well. Remember, we take on New Zealand, we take on Costa Rica, and then we take on the old foe, Croatia. 03717 223344. Come and have your say.
When you get these Arsenal fans ranting and raving and saying some of the things that they do, and then you get this nitwit over here popping up with his little brand of observation in social media.
What, Piers?
Yeah.
Little brand of 9 million followers.
Whatever, how many followers you've got, Piers.
Well, a lot more than you, Sancho.
Fantastic, but I don't judge my work by that.
It's not a little brand.
But I don't judge myself by those numbers.
This is a little brand. My YouTube channel is 4.5 million subscribers.
I'm delighted.
I have 9 million followers on X. So when I say something to 9 million people, I'm saying it to a lot more millions than you.
I'm delighted.
No, but it's not a little brand. I'm not a little nitwit.
No, I'm delighted.
You may not like what I say.
I'm delighted.
But the platform I have is infinitesimally bigger than yours.
I'm delighted. You've pivoted into the digital world and hung on by your fingertips, right? But the bottom line is I'm looking at the content. I'm looking at the content, and you're asking me why.
Yes.
People are reacting negatively.
Good evening, thankful for this Friday. Ade Oladipo alongside Mr. Rory Jennings. Remember, England take on New Zealand tomorrow. Big game in the lead up to the World Cup. That game will be live on talkSPORT. Gets underway at 9 p.m. Adrian Durham is going to be alongside Jim Proudfoot and former England captain Stuart Pearce. Every kick of every game in the World Cup will be across the talkSPORT network as well, so we really do have you covered. Looking ahead to that game, obviously it's a time for, I don't know if it is a time for Thomas Tuchel, but let's say it is. If it's time for Thomas Tuchel to kind of find his best 11, if that is the case, where do you think he still might have reservations? Like, I almost feel like we can kind of bank about 8 places. Where do you think the places are that the coaching staff are still looking?
None. Thomas Tuchel knows his starting 11. Definitely. I think that we can speculate as to who's in it.
Yeah.
Like, I think that there's major jeopardy, and I think it's ridiculous, just for the record. But I'm not 100% sure that he starts Jude Bellingham.
No, he doesn't.
Why? Why are you so confident? I hope you're right, but I don't see why you're so confident.
I know they've said there isn't anything in it. I was listening to Faye the other day. I think she was on with White and Jordan. She mentioned there's nothing in the shirt numbers, but I believe there is something in the shirt numbers, because I think when you look at the 1 to 11 shirt numbers, Jude starts and everyone starts, if that makes any sense. I think it's the shirts that have given it away for me. But surely you start Jude. You think he likes Thing, isn't it? Is that what you're saying?
Likes Morgan Rogers. He likes Morgan Rogers. And weirdly, and again, I don't agree with this, I would always start Marcus Rashford. I think Marcus Rashford is a far better player than Anthony Gordon.
Agreed.
But I feel like Tuchel likes Gordon. I feel like Tuchel prefers Rodgers to Bellingham. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I think Bellingham is twice the player of Rodgers.
Yeah.
People don't agree with me on this, by the way. Rodgers had a lot of love, a lot of support. But I think Jude Bellingham is an icon.
It's a different level, isn't it?
I agree. I think so. As brilliant as Rodgers
for Real Madrid and was like in Ballon d'Or conversation. Yeah.
So I think there's some jeopardy there. I also think maybe in the back line, like, I would start John Stones. I really would, and I think
over
Konza. Over Konza. If John Stones is fit, he starts for me. If he's 90% fit, he starts.
Surely John Stones has got to get a run out against New Zealand, so we know, and Costa Rica. Or do you just kind of?
I guess the argument in the reverse of that would be,
you know what he's going to give you. He doesn't need a run out.
Doesn't need the last thing he ever needs is to play non-meaningful football. Like, you know when Ledley King was at Tottenham.
Yeah, I know you mean.
You just deploy him when it most matters. You don't waste him in five-a-sides in training. You play him when it most matters. Maybe we don't waste John Stones against New Zealand. We deploy him against Croatia when we're potentially up against it.
Yeah. I guess the biggest, I guess the player that's maybe succeeded most under Thomas Tuchel is Elliot Anderson, hasn't he?
I mean, Anderson definitely.
When you think of where he was 12 months ago, no disrespect, I mean, not many people would have named him. He walked past you. You know, Newcastle got rid of him, Forest, and all of a sudden now he's potentially on a move to Man City for 100 million. He's almost the one player that's come in that's like, okay, we found the problem here. Some people thought it could be Kobbie Mainoo. Some people thought it could be Henderson in that position. It could have been Wharton. Now it's Elliot Anderson's, and that's locked for me.
Elliot Anderson is 100% in the England team. And that is correct.
Should he be? Okay.
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay.
Like, you know, when people talk about Elliot Anderson maybe being overpriced, they talk about the money and how much it will cost to get him out of Nottingham Forest. He's looking like he's going to end up at Man City. Feels like it's the worst kept secret in football that he's destined for City.
They've bid already, haven't they? Got rejected.
Yeah, but I think this is just a process, and ultimately that's where he ends up. I completely understand why Man City are ready to spend a huge amount of money on him. I think he's fantastic at everything. You know, one of those... It's very rare that we say this now. You know, the genuine box-to-box, all-round central midfielder. So he's not an attacking midfielder. He's not a defensive midfielder. He is a box-to-box midfielder capable of being man of the match because of his defensive properties against a great team.
So when you say box-to-box,
I think he's class,
you're basically saying, obviously you're not saying he's like this player, but when I think of box, I think of Gerrard.
Yeah.
You think he's in that mould of box-to-box like that?
Gerrard's difficult.
That's the box to box.
I don't like invoking the memory of Steven Gerrard or anyone that you'd think of here because Gerrard was so good and so unique. And if I start trying to draw parallels between Elliot Anderson and Steven Gerrard, ultimately I'll look foolish and I'll lose the fight. Yeah. It's a very difficult. Yeah. But you know, in the way that Steven Gerrard was a genuine box to box midfielder, in the way that Paul Ince was a genuine box to box midfielder. Paul Ince was capable of scoring a goal or preventing a goal. I feel like Elliot Anderson is that. I think on the ball, he's as good as anyone. I think his passing range, short passing, excellent. First time passing, excellent. Long range passing, excellent. Both feet, excellent. Phenomenal in a tackle. Big game player. When it most matters, shines. I think he's a brilliant player. And there would have been a time, like, I rate Kobbie Mainoo so highly. Yeah. And I thought it was ludicrous. Like, I didn't like Ruben Amorim. I thought he was a fraud, complete fraud. And actually a bit of a joke. You know when someone like Ruben Amorim is at Manchester United, I feel like the earth isn't spinning on its axis properly. It's like, why is this fraud in charge of one of the most recognisable and brilliant institutions in football.
Speaking
and,
of Mino,
and when he didn't play it, it's like, no, Kobe Mino is so basic. Put him on the team. Yeah. But I think now it's correct. There'll be an occasion where Kobe Mino is the right person for England. But first game Croatia, Elliot Anderson's in the team.
Okay, all right. Let's do this then instead. Let's say it's Elliot, and let's say it's what we want, which is Elliot, Jude, and Declan. Right, that's the three we want. Compare it to that Portuguese midfield, which we just said is almost the cheat code. Yeah,
the Portugal midfield.
Different type of player, aren't they? When I look at Vitinha and Neves, diminutive Bernardo Silva, there's different, aren't they? Yeah. Ours is just strong and 6'2" and theirs is so much different.
I can make a case here, though. I don't think we should be too self-deprecating about our own midfield and the talent of Declan Rice, Elliot Anderson, and, in my opinion, Jude Bellingham.
No, that's a great midfield.
It's a great midfield. What I think, whilst I would admit and be on the same side as you here, João Neves is one of the best players in the world at the moment.
Yeah.
Vitinha, you get Vitinha on the ball, you win the game. It's simple as that, right? If Vitinha is on the ball, you will win the game.
Imagine that he was in and out of Wolves' side.
I can't believe, mate. He's such a good player. He's so good on the ball. Yeah. Every pass, the weight of every single pass, it's so incisive. It's always forward. João Neves is the same. Yeah. And then Bruno Fernandes is going to be best player in the Premier League. Mm. Their midfield is therefore better, player for player. It's a better midfield. But that doesn't mean that if we were to come up against them, that we don't find rhythm. It doesn't mean that we don't nullify them and win the game. Mm. It doesn't mean that our midfield on its day can't boss their midfield.
Yeah, of course, agreed. It's a different type of midfield. They'll be fearful of our midfield as much as we look at their midfield as well. I'll just quickly go to the phone lines. Remember, phone lines are open, 03717 223344. We are talking England, who play their first warm-up game of the World Cup against New Zealand tomorrow. Then obviously it is Costa Rica, then it's Croatia, 17th of June. All those games will be live on talkSPORT. Let's go to Clive in Ipswich. Clive, confident going into this World Cup? Obviously, look, Thomas Tuchel's left a couple of big names at home, but it still is a great squad of 26.
100% confident. Harry Kane is going to do a blinder for us at this World Cup. By the way, I'm actually calling from Denver, Colorado.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Nice.
There you go. Look at that. We talkSPORT's universal. We're all over the world. If not Kane, isn't this the worry? And look, we're always like this. I remember when it was Beckham and Rooney, everyone got injuries and there was always this fear about who's going to replace them. But isn't that the worry? Like, if Kane does get a niggle, then what do we do?
Okay, I want to bring in this subject of substance over style. Not to talk about Arsenal, that's not the thing, but when I hear these arguments about substance over style and all of that, one of the things that gets forgotten is, what does the other team think about you? So here's what I mean by that. See, a lot of people knew, and again, this isn't really about Arsenal, but a lot of people knew that Arsenal were going to come in and defend. Now, as the manager, Enrique, how do you think he felt about that? I bet he felt brilliant. I bet he felt like, okay, they're going to defend, we'll go on the attack. And the old adage, attack is the best form of defence, is so true. Now, here's the thing. Harry Kane has been playing in Germany. We've got that German connection with Thomas Tuchel. I think when Gareth Southgate, love him to bits, brilliant, did as good as he could, but I never ever felt like, okay, are we really worrying the other team that we're playing against? This time, I really believe, and I bet you there's a lot of England fans out there who believe nobody wants to play us this time, because Harry Kane is going to slither and dice every single team. Watch us go, baby.
I love it. He's got a point as well, because we do this, don't we? I don't know if it's just because we felt like we've always lost the big ones, but we were like, Spain and Portugal and France, and we always worry about them.
No,
there should be a flip to that.
Yeah, I think Clive's point there is accurate, because he brought up Gareth Southgate. Now, Gareth Southgate did some good stuff for the nation, no doubt about it, right? And I think that his time with England should be framed in a fairly successful way. Mm-hmm. But where he didn't necessarily shine was, give them something to think about. Give them a problem. Make a change to affect the game, to preempt a problem. And sometimes just be bold, be daring, go for it. And we didn't do enough of that. What Thomas Tuchel, I think, will do,
he's more bold,
is he will make decisions before it is necessary. He won't be a reactive manager. And yeah, do exactly what Clive was saying there. You do something to give them something to worry about. Don't just worry about what they can do. Put them on the back foot.
Yeah, and we've got the best forward in the world, I think, in order to do that. I remember Saturday, so tomorrow, England versus New Zealand at friendly from Tampa, Adrian Durham, Jim Proudfoot, and former England captain Stuart Pearce. 9 o'clock, England are getting their World Cup endeavours started. We do want to hear from you though. 03717 22 33 As Clive said, should we be a bit more confident as England fans? We have some of the best players in the world, or do we always look at other teams and start to get a bit nervous? Give us a call. 03717 22 33
Absolute wet wipes. The lot of yous. Absolute wet wipes. Wow. Oh, he wore a PSG top. Oh, he jumped around. Do you know what? If it happened again tomorrow, I would do it again tomorrow. Wow. Up the Chelsea. Here we go. There she There she is. Look at that. Wow. Look at that bad boy.
He took it too far, Dino. He took it too far. He took it too far. Up the PSG. Up the PSG. Up the Champions League. Up the Chelsea. Oh, Cundy, you legend. We absolutely love you. Everyone loves you. Sports Bar loves you. The people love you. The Arsenal fans hate you. But who cares? Who cares? You've done it for everyone. Apart from that Chelsea lot. Apart from that Arsenal.
Amen Corner, perhaps the most feared run of holes in golf. Each year it claims the tournament hopes of many, with balls hitting bunkers and water traps aplenty. But why is it so fearsome, and where did it get its name? Just the thoughts of holes 11, 12 and 13 at Augusta National gives the likes of Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth the shivers. McIlroy hit 3 over and Spieth hit 4 over in their final rounds to blow their hopes of a green jacket in 2011 and 2016 respectively. But did you know Amen Corner's name is inspired by a jazz song from 1933? American sports writer Herbert Warren Wint, on the left here, wrote about it in 1958, referencing the song shouted in that Amen Corner when describing the run. Hole 11 is a par 4 over 520 yards with a green guarded by a pond and bunkers to the front edge. 12, perhaps golf's most famous hole, is a par 3 over just 155 yards. The green's guarded by Rays Creek at the front, more bunkers and azalea bushes ready to punish the smallest error. Then there's the 13th that teases the hook shot over the trees. It's a dogleg par 5 over 545 yards that's inviting for big hitters who want to reach the green in 2. If you want to win the Masters, you have to keep your score down around Amen Corner. So who'll be the next to fall victim to golf's most famous and most daunting challenge?
The World Cup's on, if you didn't know. Starts in 6 days. It'd be interesting, like, if they were to do one of those things where they walk the streets of New York and ask the average American if they know the biggest football tournament in the world's happening. What do you think? Like, you asked 10. How many do you think of 10 would know? Just random.
9.
9?
Yeah.
Would know about the World Cup?
I think it'd be fairly high now. Look, I don't go to America as often as you. I feel like a home nation would know.
I think only 9 would know here.
Yeah, we're not the host nation. If we were hosting, if London or the UK was hosting a tournament, as we will be in a couple of years' time, I think 10 out of 10, no, it's on. Whether you're a fan, I'm not suggesting.
Good shout.
that.
Okay, I'll take that. We are going to speak to an American football correspondent who's going to let us know a bit about that later. All right, listen up. Good competition, this one. The FIFA World Cup kicks off next Thursday, and talkSPORT are sending you and a mate straight to New York to see England live with Adidas, the tournament's official match ball supplier. We're talking a trip to watch England face Panama, return flights, hotel, match tickets, and spending money as well. All taken care of. Plus, Adidas is thrown in the official Trionda match ball and a fresh pair of boots. That's new. Nice pair of boots as well. They've got to be Predators, surely. No other boots count when it comes to Adidas. Ready to get the winning feeling? Here's how to enter. For your chance to win, just head to talksport.win or text WIN to 83338. Text and online entries cost £2.50 plus your standard network rate. Or you can give us a call 0343 418 7260. Entries must be in by 4 p.m. June the 12th. That's when you're going to need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus UK residents only. This is a talkSPORT promotion. Full T's and C's at talksportwin.com. So for your chance, text the word WIN to 83338 now. All right, I mentioned at the start of the show, Martin O'Neill, who guided Celtic to a double, obviously won the Scottish Premiership on the last day against Hearts. Not controversial at all, that win. He's now signed an initial 1-year deal to stay at Parkhead. It follows talks with the club's major shareholder, Dermot Desmond, who also held conversations with former player, Robbie Keane. O'Neill spoke to White and Jordan at the end of the dramatic title-winning season. He seemed to have a change of heart.
If you were asking me today, I genuinely wouldn't have the energy to do it at this moment. At this, I am fairly decent in terms of age. I'm going to see less days than I've seen, and so from that viewpoint. But who knows? I definitely found energy from somewhere. I think that was to do with working with a lot of people, young coaches who were fantastic for me. And there's also, I think, stepping into a training ground each day and seeing a lot of young people. I felt a rejuvenation. I definitely felt some sort of renaissance, really, as much as anything else. And that hasn't left me as from today. I'm tired, but it hasn't left me as from today.
Yeah, that was a couple of weeks ago after Celtic did catch Hearts and eventually ran them down and won the double. O'Neill there speaking to White and Jordan. Obviously, he's now done a bit of a U-turn, and rightly so, right? You get time to think, have a word with the family, see if you've still got enough energy for it. He's only 74, Martin O'Neill. Doesn't look it, by the way. He's sharp as any tool in the box, but he's decided to stay on for a year, and well done to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, he's a complete icon of the game. Yeah. A complete and utter legend. And I think having him in football is better than not. I think football is a better place having Martin O'Neill in it. I'm slightly surprised. Like I thought it was going to be Robbie Keane. It felt like Robbie Keane had this one in the bag, but that hasn't transpired for whatever reason. And they've stayed with Martin O'Neill. Martin O'Neill has earned it. He's just won the league title. He has nothing to prove to anybody. And I think it's a sensible and wise decision from the Celtic board.
Yeah, certainly sensible. On that Robbie Keane one, let's speak to a man that hopefully has some answers for us. I'm sure he will. Scottish football reporter Paul Mitchell has been kind enough to join us. Paul, before we dive into the Martin O'Neill story, and it's an incredible one, and congratulations to him as well, getting a year extension or another year at Parkhead. Why not Robbie Keane? Because it did seem as though all things were pointing towards Robbie Keane, and there seems to have done a bit of a U-turn on Robbie Keane.
No, I think this is clever from Celtic. I think they wanted people to know that they were looking and they had a viable alternative should Martin O'Neill not want to continue. I always thought that the first offer should be made to Martin O'Neill. He came in, done him a favour twice last season as interim manager. He delivered a double, and I always thought Celtic would go to him and say, you've got first choice, you've got first refusal. And I think that's what's happened here. But Celtic play the game pretty well. You know, floated out a couple of names. Craig Bellamy was mentioned, Robbie Keane was mentioned. So that basically gave them cover should Martin O'Neill decide that he didn't want to go ahead. So I think it's smart stuff from Celtic, and Martin O'Neill comes back. Now, interesting what you say. I think this comes down to 2 games, and this will make or break Martin O'Neill's decision to come back. And that's the Champions League playoff games. Martin O'Neill has never gone into this Champions League in its new format with a group stage, and I think he fancies that. I think, and if Celtic can get through that playoff round, I think he'll be vindicated and he'll enjoy those Champions League nights. Europa League, perhaps not so much, but I think he fancies another little crack at the Champions League.
Was it then a case, Paul, of Martin having first refusal? Was it a case of, okay, let's offer it to Martin, see what he wants to do? You heard him in that piece there with White and Jordan talking about the energy, being a bit tired. Was it almost a case of the owners, the hierarchy offered it to Martin, and whether or not Martin took it was then, I guess, offered out to other people?
Yeah, that's my reading of the situation. I think that's the way it's gone. Some people might tell you otherwise, but that's my gut feel about it, because he did so well. He came back, he steadied the ship, he delivered a double. You know, he did everything that could be asked of him, and I think he earned the right for first refusal for Celtic. And I think if he was going to refuse, I still think the story would have been they would have offered it to him first.
Paul, it seems like a lot of Celtic fans, not all, but a lot of Celtic fans were not up for the idea of former player Robbie Keane going back to manage them. Do you think that this will pacify? Do you think that the most loyal of Celtic fans will be happy that Martin O'Neill is going to be kept on?
I think there's 2 separate strands to this. One, I think Martin O'Neill could do what he wants in the eyes of the Celtic fans, and I think they'll accept him and come back. There has been a little bit of backlash to Robbie Keane and his links with Hapoel Tel Aviv. Celtic, politically, there is a very strong band who follow and support Palestine. And if you want to bring politics and football together, which I think is rarely a good idea, they were certainly very vocal on that. If Robbie Keane had been appointed, I think you would have seen some protests, but again, it's a noisy minority who've got the right if they want to talk about these things. But I think, you know, you've got to look past that and see what is the best footballing decision, and I still think the best footballing decision is to give it to Martin O'Neill for a year.
You know, when I was thinking about the appointment of Wilfried Nancy, I was thinking, okay, they're trying to, you know, the new word is progressive, isn't it? A younger progressive manager. I think Wilfried's only 48, 49. Obviously, Martin isn't that. He's 74. Is this the reason they've maybe only given Martin a year contract to almost kind of play it safe? And ideally, they still do want to appoint a more youthful manager. Or am I looking into this a bit too much?
No, I mean, you know what football's like. You know, if Martin O'Neill gets off to a horrendous start, wins none and the pressure's on. You know, so you know, contracts are possibly the most meaningless things in football. Whether they give Martin 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. You know, it's always thanks for last season. What are you going to do for this season? So I think that's possibly a little bit of a red herring. I think Martin's quite happy with the year. He's one of the most relaxed men about. He's comfortable, he's confident, he's not trying to make his way in the game. You know, a more youthful coach would be negotiating a 3 or 4 year deal, something like that, but he's quite happy. I think you mentioned it, Ade. He's been there, seen it, done it, he's delivered, and this is a chance just to keep enjoying himself, and as long as he enjoys it, he'll keep doing it.
I don't think I've ever seen, or at least in the last few years anyway, a crazy end to the season like it was. And look, credit to Hearts for pushing Celtic all the way. Rangers will be there or thereabouts next season. How good has it been seeing a 3-horse race? We're so used to one of the two dominating. All of a sudden, we have Hearts, and it could be the Tony Bloom effect, right? Finding these players that we don't know and then turning them into superstars. But how good has it been for just viewership, eyeballs on Scottish football, that there has been another contender?
It has been amazing. Scottish football mainly has everything that you want. It's got large crowds, it's got passionate fan bases, it's got great teams. What it's not had over the last few years, we've had lots of different teams winning cups, but what we haven't had for 30 odd years has been a 3-horse race. And if you look at leagues across Europe, you know, if you want to compare, say, Scotland to Belgium or to Holland or places like that, there's always three teams in and around the mix. We have lacked that, and we have lacked the excitement of that. Hearts lit up the league, there was no doubt about that, because they gave it a genuine 3-horse race. And if things had shaken out slightly differently, and perhaps Hearts had got a little bit the good fortune, they would have been champions. As it was, I think Celtic won the last 7, deservedly, therefore, from that perspective, got there. But I don't think there would have been too many people outside of Celtic Park unhappy if Hearts had actually crossed the line.
Paul, appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much. Paul Mitchell there, Scottish football reporter. Obviously the news that Martin O'Neill is going to stay on at Parkhead for another season. All right, we're going to talk some Premier League football when we get back, might as well. We know now the shortlist for the PFA Player of the Season. Who should win it? We're going to look at the runners and riders.
Perez, for his part, has promised he'll appoint Jose Mourinho as manager if he's elected.
She's done it, already.
Well, that's what he wants to do, but he's got to get elected to make it official. Riquelme, meantime, for his part, is saying no to Mourinho. He's promised to make Madrid legend Raúl his sporting director and will not appoint Mourinho. He says, if I win the elections, I will bring to Real Madrid a superstar manager, the biggest manager you can imagine. Jose Mourinho is not that manager. He promised also, and this is where it gets interesting, to sign Manchester City midfielder Rodri, as well as Erling Haaland, and then held up a Madrid shirt with Haaland's name on the back of it. And one would think that Manchester City are none too happy about that. Is it arrogant in a presidential race like this for one of the hopefuls to promise something that he doesn't really know if he can deliver?
Well, it's like any manifesto. We could talk about any manifesto that gets put forward and promises that are made and very rarely upheld, are they? We've got a government currently doing that in situ in this country. But as far as a football election is concerned, it's all part of the puff and stuff of getting people to potentially choose you, to subscribe to your viewpoint, whether you can deliver those things, as we have seen in many occasions, as I just referred to manifestos. They've
Good evening, thank football. It's Friday. Ade Oladipo, Rory Jennings. We're going to chat a bit more about the World Cup later on. We're going to look at the favourites, by the way. Who could it be? France, Spain, Argentina, Brazil. So many big teams at the World Cup. But we are going to do our England sort of 11 as well. We're going to try and pick an England 11. So many big games going on at the moment, including England versus Spain in a Women's World Cup qualifier. Angelina Kelly is watching for talkSPORT, and she has the team news for us. Angelina.
Yes, the island of Mallorca is the venue tonight as the Lionesses play in their penultimate World Cup qualifier. If they avoid defeat tonight, they will secure a place in Brazil next summer. Their only obstacle is just the world champion Spain. Serena Wiegmann makes just one change to the side that beat Spain 1-0 at Wembley back in April, and it's the return of Ella Toone. Lucia Kendall makes way for the Manchester United star, who makes her return after being out for 4 months during the season with a hip injury. Lauren Hemp, who scored the winning goal 2 months ago, starts, as does Lauren James, who was was a doubt after picking up an injury with Chelsea last week. Sonia Bermudez makes 3 changes to the side that lost to England as Lucia Corrales, Edna Made and Selma Parayuelo come in for Olga Carmona, Esther Gonzalez and Claudia Pina on the wing. 3-time Ballon d'Or winner Aitana Bonmati, who is in her first Spain squad since breaking her leg in November, makes the bench. Kickoff is at 8 p.m. It is Spain versus England.
I almost felt like you can speak Spanish there, Angelina, because I always thought there's a bit of twist to the Spanish names you gave there as well.
Shock, I can.
Just very quickly, in terms of a statement, if England beat Spain tonight, it's 3 wins back to back for Serena Wiegmann's ladies. Just how much of a statement does that send to the rest of the world? Because as you mentioned, Spain are the world champions, considered by many to be the best team in the world. That will be a statement result.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Spain are, number 1 ranked side in the world. And I think even though they've had these back-to-back wins, hopefully, there's still always been a little bit of a question mark because Spain have got so much talent. So to defeat them so many times consistently, I think it does send a strong message that England, just because they didn't win the World Cup last time around, doesn't mean that they shouldn't be the favourites going into this. I know that the USA will be probably at the World Cup. They've got Emma Hayes, Chelsea legend, leading them. The USA win the World Cup for fun at times when you look back at the history of women's football, but I think this is a huge one for England and I think it will settle a few nerves. It's always nervy playing Spain, but to walk away with 3 back-to-back wins, not too bad, is it?
Not bad at all. Cheers, Angelina. Thank you very much. Spain versus England World Cup qualifier. Angelina Kelly will keep us updated as to when the goals go in that one. All right, let's turn our attention now to the PFA Player of the Year nominees. We have the final 6. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes won the Premier League Player of the Season. Joining him in this is Ryan Cherki, Erling Haaland, David Raya, Gabriel and Declan Rice. Is that the right 6?
Yeah, are you suggesting that somebody massive or some potential winner has been left out?
I don't think Ryan Cherki should be in it.
Yeah, I think Ryan Cherki should be there.
He's not had a better season than Antoine Semenyo. He's not a better season, surely.
No.
Even for what he did for Bournemouth and then what he did for... As soon as he landed for City, he went bang immediately.
I think you could argue that. Yeah. I'll tell you what Cherki has done, though.
Go on.
Cherki has conformed...
Done some kick-ups and scored 5 goals.
Yeah, he's conformed to the part of football which I do think is important, which is the feeling. I think what Cherki has done it. Cherki has, in an era that is defined by workmanlike footballers, in an era that is defined by the system, Cherki has been a tonic. Cherki has been a breath of fresh air. He has played football like a kid, like a maverick, like a 1970s throwback footballer with his shirt untucked and his big collar. And I've thoroughly enjoyed that. So I kind of think that Cherki deserves a mention. Whether he's better than Semenyo isn't really the point I'm making. I'm just saying that there should be a world where we can acknowledge the contribution of a maverick footballer like Ryan Cherki.
It says a lot about Arsenal, doesn't it? And their front line, that not only does no one get in from that front line, we don't care that no one's not in. Like, no one deserves to be in from Arsenal's front line.
No, Arsenal's excellence last season was completely
defensive,
built upon the wall in front of Raya and David Raya himself. I think by the end of the season, I know this is a really uninspiring way to look at football, but by the very end of the season, very early in the season we were saying Declan Rice unplayable. Declan Rice is the reason that Arsenal are top of the league. Then as the season progressed, Declan Rice was always immense and probably deserves this award. But maybe you could then start talking about the impact of Gabriel. But at the very end of the season, it became everybody was sort of talking about Saliba. But the actual constant throughout the whole season for Arsenal's actual best player was David Raya.
This is you're right, by the way. And you're right.
David Raya's the best goalkeeper in Europe. There isn't a better goalkeeper in the whole of Europe than David Raya. I love Declan Rice. I think he's immense. Declan Rice, he didn't have a better season. He didn't. Real Madrid didn't. Thibaut Courtois didn't. I don't think Thibaut Courtois is better than David Raya based on legacy. He is, but not based on last season. He's not.
Yeah.
Declan Rice isn't the best midfielder in the world. William Saliba is not the best centre half in the world. I think the only player at Arsenal that is actually the best in their position in the world is David Raya.
Strange, isn't it, how he don't start for Spain as well?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. That just doesn't make sense.
When was the last time, and hopefully our producer can get onto this very quick, when was the last time a goalkeeper's even been in the final 6?
No.
I remember the last time. I think of even the times Alisson was really good and Peter Cech. I'm sure Peter Cech must have been in it. He must have been.
Yeah, Cech would have been. I mean, Van der Sar had that season where he broke all sorts of records. Not the amount of goals that were conceded, but Van der Sar that season where United won the league and the European Cup. Van der Sar went on a ridiculous run, Absolutely ridiculous, breaking all sorts of records. So there have been standout goalkeepers, no doubt. It's just that generally when there've been standout goalkeepers, in that team, it's also married up with brilliance in attack.
Yeah.
So that Manchester United team that I'm talking about, where Van der Sar was a standout player, he was never the best player in the team because Wayne Rooney was in the team. He was never the best player in the team because Ryan Giggs, Paul Scholes, Cristiano Ronaldo were in the team.
Agreed. So when Alisson was number one, Salah was there.
Salah was there.
So it wasn't.
Yeah, when Petr Cech was the best goalkeeper in the league, no doubt. Obviously, he wasn't the best player at Chelsea. Arjen Robben was in the team. Frank Lampard was in the team. Didier Drogba was in the team. Petr Cech was never the best goalkeeper he was never the best player in the team. Whereas I think you can actually argue now that David Raya, and I'm not saying this, by the way, this kind of sounds a little bit sneery if it's belittling Arsenal's achievement, and it's not. It's actually accentuating quite how good it is. That their entire brilliance and everything about what made them so good up until that Champions League final was built on the ruthlessness of that back line.
Isn't the answer really just Haaland? Isn't the hardest thing to do score goals, and he's still the top goal scorer?
No, it's not Haaland.
38 goals in 52 games this season for City. I almost feel like we just look down at these numbers because these numbers are astronomical.
But you're making a big error here because what you're doing is you're focusing purely on numbers. Like, you know those geeks on YouTube that only look at numbers? I look at the most important numbers. So no, those geeks, you're right, look at runs and assist before assist, and you're right, they do that. I'm not that. I'm not a geek, Rory. How dare you? I'm looking at the biggest number. The biggest number is ball in the back of the net. But what you're
and that's the hardest thing to do in football.
What you're not doing is you're not taking in the totality of the season.
Won a double.
You're not.
Won a double. Won a double.
No.
Won a double.
Listen, Ade, you follow football throughout the entire.
Won a double.
You follow football through. Yeah, again though, you're not looking behind the curtain. You're looking at the achievement. The achievement's great. You're looking at the total amount of goals. The total amount of goals is great. When City most needed Erling Haaland, he wasn't there. When they were drawing games with West Ham, drawing games with Chelsea, under Callum McFarlane, drawing games. I think Crystal Palace, there was a terrible draw with Palace. Do you remember when they went on that? Brighton, maybe? They had a terrible run.
There was a blip. Towards the back end you're talking?
No, this is maybe January.
Yeah.
Blip.
He did go quiet. He went quiet. But it was all him, wasn't it? It was all him.
Didn't he go like, over 10 games without a goal in the Premier League?
No, it doesn't make sense. I'm not having that.
He did.
No.
He did.
Someone check that. No,
he did.
I think you just made that up.
He did. No.
Over 10?
Yeah, he went 10 or more.
And he still got 27 goals.
10 consecutive games without a goal. Guarantee it.
All right, let's quickly talk about the favourite then. And I don't know why he is the favourite, but he is the favourite. Bruno Fernandes.
He's the favourite because he's...
Why? Because of the assist. What are we doing?
You
just said don't be one of those geeks that talk about stats, and he's there because of the assist.
No, I think
he broke the assist record.
No, he's not there.
And by the way, when they say assist record, they're talking corners, which baffled me. I didn't realise that was a thing. I didn't know assists were corners.
For the record, if I was voting in this, I'd
give it to Declan.
I'd give it to Declan Rice.
Give it to Declan.
Yeah, just so I think it's important that we establish that. I'd vote for Declan Rice. But I completely understand why Bruno Fernandes is there. Bruno Fernandes has been the personality of Manchester United. An institution.
Not a good one. Not a good one. Sometimes.
Over the last season, I feel like people are being very generous to him now. I've heard people talking about how he should be in an all-time Man United 11. Nonsense like that, right? Absolutely ridiculous. People forget that he was a captain of a Manchester United team that got beat by Villarreal in a European final. He was a captain of a Manchester United team that got beat by Tottenham, Postecoglou's Tottenham, in a European final. So people are being very kind to Bruno Fernandes. But what I will concede is, looking at last season in its entirety, he was a standout player in the Premier League. He had a very good season. He played with a swagger. He carried that team to victory. And by the end, he was the personality. And when you are the personality standout player at a club like United, it's serious. Like carrying a club and carrying the expectation of that Stretford end on your shoulders, you're a serious. You
know what it is though? When I think he's won the Premier League Player of the Season, so I give him that because that's just, and it shouldn't be, but that's just Premier League. PFA is more than that. PFA for me is everything. And I'll give him the Premier League. You're right. I mean, look, when Carrick came, I mean, they were in the doldrums, and it's him, right? He's put the club on his back and he's done it. When I think of PFA, I think of more than that. I think of what you've done in the FA Cup. I think what you've done in the League Cup, and I think he's going to sneeze. And I think of what you've done everywhere. And that's why I just have to give it to Declan.
No, I don't think it's weird to give it to an Arsenal player when they've won the league. It probably should fall to an Arsenal player. But I do understand why Bruno Fernandes, even if you don't think it's him, you don't think it's wrong that we're discussing him.
No.
So it's kind of fair enough.
And by the way, the last time a goalkeeper was nominated in this was 2012, Joe Hart. It's been a while. When you think of how many good goalkeepers have been since then.
Pep Guardiola apologised to Joe Hart.
I saw that.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It's very big of Guardiola, I thought. Almost
said, what, admitting a mistake or just...
Yeah,
Sorry,
he didn't give him a chance, didn't he?
Yeah.
Must be heartbreaking for Joe Hart to hear that.
To hear that,
Kind of
knowing
forced
that he
out
could
the
have
club.
had another 7 trophies and about 50 more England caps. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? All right, up next, we're going to be looking at Liverpool. It's confirmed that Andoni Iraola will be in charge next season. 2-year deal, though, makes it interesting.
Crookie, what about Elliot Anderson? We're led to believe that opening bid from City has been knocked back from Forest. Is it just a case of a matter of time this one getting over the line?
I think so, and again, no surprise that City have tried to make their move early. We were told at talkSPORT a couple of weeks ago that in an ideal world, Elliot Anderson's future would be sorted before he kicked his first ball for England at the World Cup. Obviously, City are trying to get this one done. We know that Evangelos Marinakis can be a difficult negotiator. Just ask Tottenham and Morgan Gibbs-White from this time last year. But all the information I have is that City have always been Elliot Anderson's preferred choice, despite the fact there's also interest from Manchester United. This is a deal I do expect to happen. And again, it comes back to what we said at the start of the section. Real Madrid and Rodri, if they get Elliot Anderson in, could the time be right to cash in on Rodri, who clearly hasn't been the same player since returning from injury as he was before?
Crookie, I've got some breaking news. I've heard from my sources at Aston Villa that Morgan Rogers is staying.
From the Toffees to the Tractor Boys, the Eagles to the Seagulls, Gunners, Bees, Hammers and Magpies, Premier League teams have got a load of crazy nicknames. Ever wondered where they came from? Let's start with Everton. They're dubbed the Toffees, but why? Well, because when the club was formed, just down the road there were 2 local toffee shops. Ye Ancient Everton Toffee House and Mother Noblet's Toffee Shop were big fan favourites. Next, they say if you can't beat 'em, join 'em, and that's exactly what Ipswich Town did when it came to their nickname. The term Tractor Boys used to be chanted by their opponents as a way of putting the team down for their farming background. But during one game back in the late 90s, Ipswich were 1-0 up and they decided to flip the script. 1-0 to the Tractor Boys, they sang, and a new nickname was born. Let's head to Leicester, famous for more than just a red, well, orangey cheese and Jamie Vardy. Leicestershire is also the birthplace of fox hunting, hence the Foxes. Next up, turns out apples are not the only fruit that don't fall far from the tree. Bournemouth's nickname, the Cherries, comes from the fact the club's stadium was originally built right next to a bunch of cherry orchards. This next story actually involves 2 club nicknames. It started with Crystal Palace. They were having an absolute nightmare run back in the early 70s. They'd been relegated after a terrible spell and manager Malcolm Allison decided enough was enough. He wanted a new nickname, something strong, fast and destined for success. Something exactly like an eagle. But there's more to this one. Brighton were in search of a nickname too, and Palace finally gave them what they needed. In a heated match between the two back in 1976, Palace fans began chanting, "Eagles, Eagles." And some clever Brighton fans came up with the perfect reply, "Seagulls, Seagulls." Not all club nicknames have a crazy story though. Take the Gunners. That just comes from the fact a group of munitions workers in the Royal Arsenal factory in Woolwich set up the club in 1886. On the flip side, some nicknames seem simple, but there's a bit more to them. Like West Ham. The Hammers is actually nothing to do with the ham part of the name. It comes from the fact the club used to be called Thames Ironworks FC and was made up of workmen and shipbuilders. So next time the away end's chanting their crazy nickname, you'll now know exactly where it came from.
Good evening, just gone at 8 o'clock. You're listening to Fame Footballers Friday. Ade Oladipo, Rory Jennings with you until 10. Loads more England chat to come as well. We're going to hear from the manager, Thomas Tuchel, right now. He's speaking to the media. Plus, we're here an exclusive chat with talkSPORT's England correspondent, Faye Carruthers. And we're going to be discussing Liverpool. There's a new man in town, a new sheriff in town. Former Bournemouth manager Andoni Iraola is the new boss at Anfield. This is Fame Footballers Friday on talkSPORT. Just before that Liverpool conversation, let's hear now from a man that will be hoping to start for Thomas Tuchel in that first game against Croatia. That is Aston Villa defender Ezri Konsa. He's been speaking to the media ahead of that game against New Zealand tomorrow. He was asked how he would feel if he wasn't a major player for the team in this World Cup.
Look, competition is always good. I think you need that. Keeps you on your toes. But for me, look, if I get the opportunity, I'll be ready. You know, it's a team game. You know, starters, players on the bench, whatever. We've got a good group here, so whoever's starting and whoever's on the bench, we're going to support each other no matter what. And yeah, look, like I said, if I'm called upon, I'll be ready.
You know, when someone gets asked that question, I mean, what would you expect them to say? I'm going to be angry. I'm going to be... Obviously, he's going to say he's a team player. Obviously, look, Ezri Konsa would be wanting to start. He knows it's Guéhi +1. Like, Guéhi's banked in. So then it's between him and Stones, really.
I actually think that Konsa has got it. Look, Konsa wouldn't be my choice to start. I think John Stones would start. I think the majority of people listening to this will be saying
Konsa.
Yeah. I think Thomas Tuchel thinks Konsa. I think it will probably be Konsa. I just love John Stones. I think John Stones is the governor, and I would have him playing, no doubt. But I think Ezri Konsa can be very confident that he will start for England when we line up in Texas in a few days' time, really. It's going to be amazing against Croatia.
Yeah, and look, he's won a European trophy. He's been an ever-present for Villa now for the last few seasons. He's versatile. He's a big, strong centre-back as well. He's played with Guéhi for England. They understand each other. I think it will be him and Guéhi. But if it's John Stones, then so be it. John Stones a fantastic defender. All right, we teased it. Let's talk about it now. Arne Slot out at Liverpool. Andoni Iraola in. This happened with Arne Slot being sacked last Saturday, and Liverpool haven't wasted no time in appointing Bournemouth manager, former Bournemouth manager now, Andoni Iraola, who guided the club to 6th in the league. They're in Europe. Congratulations to them. I think he's done a fantastic job. Let's hear from Andoni Iraola. He spoke for the first time yesterday, and the former boss has said he's ready for the challenge ahead.
Really excited to be here, to be the manager of Liverpool. I think you already know, no? The club is one of the biggest clubs in the world, but I think there is always something more than this, no? When we are talking about Liverpool, I think there is an identity behind. I think there is a lot of people who care a lot about this club, and this really motivates me. I think it's a great privilege, but also a great responsibility to be here in this position, and I hope I'm at the level and we can enjoy together.
And it's weird now, I'm about to say Arne Slot. I'm so used to him being Liverpool manager. Andoni Iraola, they're speaking to the media yesterday. I think 90% of Liverpool fans very excited about the appointment, obviously very happy. I think they're more, I feel bad saying this, but I think they're more happy that Arne Slot's left the club. I think there was just a negative energy around Arne Slot, especially towards the end of the season, where results were just, you just wanted the season to end. The issue of Mo Salah. The reason I say 90%, I think there's 10% of Liverpool fans that are a bit like, there's a massive jump from Bournemouth to Liverpool. Yeah. Massive, massive jump, right? You are now going to be scrutinising everything you do. And Bournemouth is kind of just free to do what he wants. And let's be honest, some of us really sort of focus on Bournemouth. For Liverpool, I mean, it's a big step up, isn't it, for Andoni Iraola? Never played European football either as well.
Yeah.
Now you have to do the Champions League.
It's fascinating. The whole thing is fascinating. Like, for the record, I think it's a great appointment.
Agreed.
Like, I personally think it's great. However, I read Jamie Carragher's column today. Jamie Carragher writes in The Telegraph. He writes a great column. I read that today, and he said something that didn't necessarily chime with the way I saw the situation. I thought Arne Slot didn't really work for Liverpool, not only because of the results. Like, I think Arne Slot needed to go, and only 20% of the reasoning that I have for him needing to leave is because of what happened on the pitch. It's the way he conducted himself. It's the way that the job seemed to eat him alive. It was the stature on the touchline. He didn't live like a Liverpool manager. He didn't speak like a Liverpool manager. He didn't look like a Liverpool manager. He didn't have that swagger, that arrogance even.
Are we comparing him to Klopp, though, when you do that?
Yeah, I think, but you're right to compare him to Klopp, because Klopp is the modern day definition of a Liverpool manager, isn't he? Yeah. There are a lot of Liverpool fans whose almost identity as being a Liverpool fan is morphed by what Jurgen Klopp did. So Jamie Carragher was very supportive of the appointment, but he also suggested caution. That isn't how I saw the situation prior to reading that. I just thought it was a great appointment. I really did. I thought they got it right. Listening to him speak, everything that I've heard from Iraola, it really does chime with what I think a Liverpool manager is supposed to be. I think there was a quote, and this just so works for Liverpool, what Liverpool fans want. He said, every single player, when they pick up the ball, their first thought should be, can I score a goal? Including the goalkeeper. That progressive attacking.
All that attack, isn't it?
Attacking. Yeah. Like, go for the jugular. Give the opposition something to worry about. What we were saying in the previous segment a little earlier in the show, we were saying that it was a little bit too passive from Arne Slot, wasn't it? It was a little bit too passive. He would kind of react to situations rather than being proactive. And ultimately, you never really gave the opposition a problem. What Iraola will do is he will go for your jugular. Maybe he'll miss occasionally.
Yeah, like Klopp
maybe he'll miss a lot.
Klopp did that early.
Maybe he'll miss a lot.
Yeah.
But what he will do is, you'll be in a fight with him. Team's going to come to Anfield, and immediately Iraola's team are going to go for your jugular. Bang! They're going to attack you. They're going to attack you. They're going to put you on the back foot. They're going to try and batter you. And whether it works or not, time will tell. But what it will definitely mean, it will mean that the Anfield faithful, which is so important to this, the Kop will be liking it. The Kop will be singing his name. And basically, there are very few clubs where this is more important. I think it's important at every club, but it's not more important than almost anywhere than it is at Liverpool. That Kop need to back you.
Yeah.
You know when you could tell that they turned on Slot?
Once they turn on you...
It was never, ever...
It's never going to go the other way.
And on a Slot, he got it so wrong. He had a pop at them quite a lot. There was one moment with Slot where I was just like, you're just not a Liverpool manager here. You're not. You're a Fulham manager at best.
Which part?
There's
several.
One of them was where he was talking about silverware and the importance of silverware, and he kind of likened the importance of silverware, but he said a style of play is actually more important. I'm like, mate, no, it isn't. Firstly, it isn't, and that's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. But secondly, not at Liverpool. Liverpool are the most greedy club when it comes to silverware in the country.
Yeah.
You can't say, oh yeah, we don't care about trophies around here. We care about style of play and a philosophy. No, you don't. Not at Anfield, you certainly don't.
And then as well, look, I don't necessarily always agree with Mo Salah coming out in the media and having a go at the manager. I sometimes think it's wrong. But when the club's losing and then the player has a go at the manager, Liverpool fans are only ever going to back a player.
Yeah.
We're only ever going to back Mo Salah because he's 9 seasons of glorious football for us.
But
you're going to lose that battle.
I saw a tweet that went viral, and it basically was a Liverpool fan thanking Mohamed Salah for the greatest assist that he made for the club.
And getting Arne Slot sacked.
Which was getting Arne Slot out of the club.
That tweet that he did, isn't it? We have to go back to heavy metal.
Yeah, well, when all the players were liking the tweet, all of the players were completely
Which
agreeing.
tells me they knew.
Yeah, because
that kind of tells me
Arne
they
Slot,
knew.
by the end, Arne Slot didn't behave like a Liverpool manager. There is, do you know what I know of a Liverpool manager? Rafael Benitez certainly had it. Jurgen Klopp took it to a completely different level, and I think Jurgen Klopp has almost redefined the job in the modern era. Maybe taking it back to what I've learned and been taught about
Shankly.
Yeah, Shankly and Paisley. And what I think has happened is Arne Slot was just so far removed from that. There was a moment, Liverpool got 2 draws in London, I think it was in consecutive games. So they got a point at Anfield and they got a point at the Emirates and a point at Craven Cottage. And obviously the Liverpool fans in the away end at Arsenal were very supportive of the point. There's a good point away from home at Arsenal. not such a good point away from home at Craven Cottage when you're winning the game with a few seconds left. And Arne Slot was like, I don't know what their problem is. We got a point there and a point there, and they're both a decent point. It's like, no, mate, obviously they're not a decent point. One has gone on to win the league. One is arguably the hardest away game that you're going to have, and you took the game to them. That's a good point. A point at Craven Cottage is never a good point for a club the size of Liverpool. So it was so gone for Slot, and now what they needed to do was get the Kop singing again, get the feeling of Liverpool being Liverpool back, and the best thing they could do is get Iraola in. I'll tell you what, if you play this game with me and then you can decide whether you think it's a good decision or not. If Jurgen Klopp was Richard Hughes, if Jurgen Klopp had the ear of Richard Hughes,
which he does,
who would Jurgen Klopp suggest is the next Liverpool manager? I think he would suggest Iraola. Yeah, of course, through the lens of reality, yeah.
Andoni Iraola.
Yeah.
So I even said Andoni Iraola over Xabi Alonso in terms of the style of football that we want to see at the club.
See, that's fascinating. Do you think they missed out on Alonso and it was error? Because a lot of what Liverpool do, it does look like error. Konate's just left for free. That's an error.
In the last 3 weeks since Alonso's been appointed at Chelsea, I don't think so.
So you think they didn't want Alonso, and Chelsea appointing Alonso has actually done Liverpool a favour because they haven't had to now deal with the fanfare and the
fanfare
fan
of you didn't get Alonso. Yeah. I think now it's style of football. And there was obviously a lot of conversations around Jurgen Klopp, maybe, as you mentioned, having the ear of Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards and saying, go for Iraola. But by God, he's got a job to fill. Konate gone. Robbo gone. Salah gone. Do you know what I mean? Like, Ekitike out into the new year. Like,
yeah. But do you know what? Look, Ade, you're a Liverpool fan. But from the outside looking in, there are major problems at Liverpool, of course there are, and Konate leaving on a free is abysmal. Just abysmal.
Shocking.
Right?
It's
abysmal.
sickening.
But I feel like solving the problems at Liverpool are actually quite easy.
How do you think that?
Because I feel like I can do it now.
Go on then. Solve the problem.
Okay, I solved the there's a problem at centre half.
Massive.
So what you do is you don't go out and buy a young French kid or a young Italian.
We've already bought, yeah.
You go and you buy Lacroix or Murillo or Milenkovic or two of three that I've just mentioned. You go and you buy Premier League proven centre-halves, right? That immediately makes Virgil van Dijk a better player. Virgil van Dijk needs somebody like Lacroix next to him in the way that John Terry, when John Terry was 35, needed Gary Cahill next to him. So I think that solves the problem there.
Okay.
I think you then need to do the same thing in central midfield. And again, I think it's a tap-in. Adam Wharton.
No.
What do you mean, no?
We need a bruiser. All this, Adam Wharton's
Adam Wharton's
Gravenberch.
Okay, go and gazump everyone and get Elliot Anderson then. The answers are there.
Yeah, you
Premier League proven.
You said the answer like we've got 300 million in the
kitty. Belabor.
They want 100, don't they, Brighton?
Just
the biggest one, and you've not answered this, and I'm waiting for this one. Salah.
No, Salah's irreplaceable, but you have to do it. Salah's irreplaceable, but you do it in a different way.
Yeah, like everyone has to get those numbers across the board.
At the club, you've got Alexander Isak and Ekitike and Florian Wirtz.
Yeah.
You get Florian Wirtz playing to the level that he demonstrated previously, not in the Premier League, and then you get Ekitike and Isak up front together, maybe.
There you go. Liverpool have done it.
There you go. I'm for hire. I'm for hire. Anyone at Liverpool listening?
No. Emails bouncing back. All right, Liverpool fans, get in touch. 03717 223344. Iraola is at the club. Arne Slot has gone. How confident are you that the Spaniard can fire Liverpool, not to the title, but at least in title contention? Give us a call, 03717 223344.
Let's talk about the World Cup then in a bit more detail. England, of course, touched down in America ahead of the competition. Let me get your views on the squad. Lots of players that a lot of people should have been in it weren't. Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Gibbs White, Adam Wharton, Trent, of course, Harry Maguire being another one. What have you made of the squad and the players that aren't going?
All of them players are the real technicians. Adam Wharton, Foden, Cole Palmer, Trent. And Trent. So my opinion personally is the majority of them players should have gone, because I think that holding the ball in a World Cup is the most crucial thing, and being that team. But Thomas has gone the other way. Thomas, you can see he's picked by the team he's.
Good evening, thanks for it's Friday. Ade Oladipo, Rory Jennings. I did say that England are playing Spain in a World Cup qualifier, and there's been a goal. Angelina Kelly, which way has it gone?
It is Spain 1, England 0. A goal for Patrick Guijarro. She sailed past the England defence with ease, and from outside of the D, she just slammed the ball past Hannah Hampton into the back of the net. It is Spain 1, England 0.
Plenty of time, not a problem at all. Loads of time to get back into that one. Remember, if England win that game, they go to the World Cup. All right, we are going to take some calls about Liverpool a bit later. We are also going to take some calls about England as well. But the gaffer, the main man, has spoken a few months ago. Thomas Tuchel spoke to the press ahead of that game against New Zealand tomorrow. He's concerned about the condition of the pitch in Tampa.
I just saw it. No, it will not affect my team selection, because what I heard until now is that it should be okay, and we want it, of course, to be okay. I saw just a photo from your colleague that made me a little bit worried and concerned. But let's decide when we are there. If there are any issues, we can always react to it. The plan is tomorrow to play 45 minutes with 2 complete teams to expose everyone to the same amount of minutes. And then we can continue the next 3 days with the same load of training. That is the plan, and at the moment we stick to the plan.
I was desperate to hear there if he mentioned anything about Alex Scott and sort of the idea of what England side he's going to put out. Obviously, I don't think the Arsenal boys have linked up with the England squad as yet. Yeah, so maybe that's why Alex Scott gets some minutes. We'll see. Thomas Tuchel talking about the pitch. We're trying to wrap our brains around and see if this is a pitch for the World Cup. If it isn't, I guess there should be bigger concerns. We're not quite sure of it yet. But if it is, then get used to it. Yeah. Nothing you can do. You have to get used to it.
Yeah, I don't think it can be too significant. Obviously, I haven't seen it, but I don't think it can be too significant, can it? The quality of the pitch will at least be an indicator to the quality of pitches that England will be playing on.
There you go. There it is.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
Come on.
It'd be all right. Yeah, it'd be all right. I mean, I'm the last thing that I want to hear Thomas Tuchel talking about, really. I've got so many questions, so much that I want Thomas Tuchel to talk about, so much that I'd love to be sorted out.
I don't want to hear about the pitch.
Yeah, the pitch is kind of neither here nor there, isn't it? It doesn't look terrible, does it? Either?
I think the players will survive. They'll be okay.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay. They'll be okay. How important? This game's not really important, is it? It's just about fitness, acclimatising, making sure that you're...
I always find these games dangerous. I always find them, like... I'd love to go far back to see if these games were even a thing a few decades back, where you played sort of friendlies before the World Cup. The risk of injury, you almost want to wrap them up in cotton wool. You almost want the players who've had the longest seasons known to mankind, especially the Premier League-based players, right? Arduous seasons, difficult seasons, like, back-to-back games. The idea of playing a game a few days before the World Cup scares me.
I think the game is quite important, though. I think not necessarily the result of the game, but playing the game. Getting used to playing in the States, getting used to playing in those temperatures, having a competitive game. It's very difficult to replicate competitive fixtures.
How competitive is it?
It's far more competitive than anything that can happen in training.
Yeah, okay, fair.
It's far more competitive than anything. You cannot really replicate a competitive game in training against teammates.
Yeah.
So this is the closest thing that you can do. It's happening in a stadium. There's going to be fans in the ground. It's something. It matters. So with that in mind, it will be an indicator. Also, this game's taking place in Orlando, isn't it? It's going to be replicating on some level, at least, the temperature that England will play at when we play in Texas.
Yeah.
So it will get these players up to speed on some level.
All right, let's hear a bit more from the England manager, Thomas Tuchel. He's also said that he's happy with no more injury concerns in the squad.
I'm a very lucky manager because I could choose a group and go to a World Cup with a group that I chose, and it's English players, and I love all the players, so I'm a very, very lucky manager. And yeah, this is a part of it. Of course, I was very nervous through the last weeks when I watched matches and saw players like going out and like I instantly texted, "Is everything okay?" Of course, and we need this kind of luck. If we want to go a long way, you need just this kind of luck. If we are unlucky and we have injuries in key moments and in key matches, then it's just not the same thing. We will always try to find solutions then, because we don't want to be fully dependent on individual players, but it's just the reality. At the moment, it's just beautiful that we can train in the full size squad. And the young players that we took are doing excellent, and we're taking care of the players and managing the load. So it seems like we have tomorrow everyone available, and it continues. So every match has the risk of an injury, but let's not knock on wood. Let's not talk about so much about it, and don't put it out there in the moment. The manager is lucky and happy, and we have the chance to let everyone play.
Harry Kane's played over 50 games for Bayern Munich this season. Does he play against New Zealand?
No.
You don't think he plays?
No.
I always feel like he wants to play.
No,
he knocks on the door to play.
I think he could feature. I guess in one of the two games he should play. Probably the second one.
Yeah. Or maybe 45 minutes in each game.
Yeah. The only reason to get him to play is to just get him used to the conditions. It's only about conditioning. The only reason these fixtures are even minorly important is to get the players used to what it's like. It's going to feel like when you are playing in those conditions. So the fixture itself is neither here nor there. Getting Harry Kane on the pitch, on the ball.
I hope England fans understand that as well, because you look at some of the other games and there's been, France fans weren't too happy about them losing to Ivory Coast. Spanish fans about the draw of Iraq. The Netherlands lost to Algeria. None of the big boys are winning, is what I'm trying to get at. And I think England fans should just understand it is just a fixture, as you say, Rory, just to make sure that everyone's acclimatised and good to go. Let's go to the phone lines very quickly. Andy in Bristol has joined us. Andy, excited about just the build-up to it now. Obviously, it's New Zealand, it's Costa Rica, then it's the big one against Croatia. Where do you think this England squad is right now in terms of going to finally win the World Cup again?
Yeah, how you doing, lads? Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I'm a big Bristol Ravens fan, so obviously I've got big interest in England because I don't get to watch quality very often. So it gets me excited. World Cups come along, and I get well excited for it. I think we're going to do well. I think we're going to do okay. I'm not going to get overexcited because I usually do, and it ends in tears, But I mainly wanted to talk about Tuchel, really, because I was watching a game about a year ago, and the commentator on the TV was on about how Tuchel's been watching the New England Patriots documentary. So I'm really interested in, the psychology of things. So I thought, I'll watch it and see if I can get into Tuchel's mind a bit. Honestly, lads, if you haven't seen it, you watch it, you suddenly see a lot of parallels and why he makes some of the decisions he makes. So I'll give you a couple of examples. So we've got Foden left at home, Palmer left at home. You've got Alexander-Arnold left at home, Gibbs-White left at home. He's left Bellingham out before. He's making these are huge calls, right? These are superstars he's leaving out. You look at Belichick, he was, I'm not a massive NFL fan, I just watched it because I was interested in the psychology. Belichick, he had a super quarterback, one of the star players in the NFL at the time, got injured, brought Brady in. I think it was like a 6th round draft. He was no superstar. You look at the videos of him beforehand, he was no superstar whatsoever, but he was good at the mid-range passes, and he kind of built his play around that. When I forgot the guy's name now, who he dropped for him, Bledsoe, I think his name was. When he was back from injury a few weeks later, he kept Brady in the side and built his team around it. He dropped an absolute superstar. People thought he was crazy. What happened was they went on to win the Super Bowl, and Brady became a superstar. He also, it wasn't just that, during a Super Bowl, he dropped Malcolm Butler. This guy was like one of the superstars, like a hero for the Patriots. Dropped him for the Super Bowl. He talked about how it was about team, how it's about the ethos. Nobody's bigger than the team. This is how I want to play. He's not the right player for the game. He makes ruthless decisions. And if you watch the documentary, you will honestly see so many parallels from Tuchel's decisions to what Belichick was like and the success he had. I don't know what your views are on that.
I like it. Honestly, appreciate the call as well, Andy.
Very good call.
There is that, isn't there? There is a lot of sports are now crossing over. I know that. I think Jurgen Klopp and Steve Kerr, who was the current manager of the Golden State Warriors in America, there is this psychology now of crossing over sports. Who was the England rugby?
Clive Woodward.
Clive Woodward. A lot of people have got stuff from him now.
Yeah, he went to Southampton, didn't he?
Yeah, didn't they say like now it's not just about your starting 11, it's starters and finishers, I think
It was the marginal gains fellow.
Yeah.
Dave Brailsford, who went into Manchester United.
Cycling.
Yeah. He went into Manchester United and he was all about the marginal gains. Didn't necessarily go to plan, but the point was that. Look, I can't really draw. I don't know too much about the NFL.
But you know about Tom Brady.
Yeah, no, of course. But I don't need to know about Tom Brady to have a conversation that we're about to have. And look, the insight that was provided there by our Bristol Rovers friend was very interesting. But I kind of think that it's nothing will rationalise leaving Morgan Gibbs-White, Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Harry Maguire out of the team, out of the squad. I'd like Harry Maguire not going to the squad while Jarrell Quansah goes, while Dan Burn goes. You can talk to me about whatever Bill Belichick did. You can talk to me about maybe the ego of Harry Maguire. People I think are being quite snide about Harry Maguire now, and they're saying things like, oh, well, his behaviour post being left out has justified him being left out.
Yeah,
Firstly, that's dumb. No, I disagree with it completely. Firstly, nobody knew that he was going to do that. So it's ridiculous. He's been a consummate professional for England, and I have no understanding why he was left out. Equally, I would argue that having Harry Maguire in is good, and if Harry Maguire is going to be heartbroken being left out, that is the kind of player that we should have around the camp. I want players playing for England. I'm quite a traditional fellow, right? I'm quite an old-fashioned fellow. When you play for England, you take it very seriously. It's an honour. You do your top button up. You sing the national anthem. And if you're dropped, you're heartbroken. Harry Maguire cares about England. He wants to play for England. He was heartbroken when he was left out. That has made me think that he should be part of the squad even more than before.
Yeah.
So I think that's
interesting. The others haven't really said anything. Cole Palmer, Trent, Phil Foden, all gone very, very quiet, haven't they? Haven't said much. All right, we are going to take your calls, 03717 223344. We are talking England and just how far they can go to the World Cup. Do you trust Thomas Tuchel to bring football home?
He's the sort of player, Andy, that you can't really look at age because he could play at this level for another 4 or 5 years at least.
Do you think that long?
Yeah, I do.
31, you think he could be playing?
Doesn't rely on his pace.
No, he doesn't, but it's very rare you get great players. Even look at Mo Salah, right? Last season, season before last was... Yeah, I did look at Salah and thought his pace had gone. His just whole game went all of a sudden overnight.
I think when I watched him, he didn't look as quick, but I feel like Bruno Fernandes, do you know what I mean? You'll find a position for him, even if his legs do go a little bit. He's just that talented. His passing range, mate. Do you know what I mean? Set pieces.
Reported it has a £57 million release clause for European clubs. That means he can't throw him, say go to Man City. Should the likes of Real Madrid be all over that? Is that a bargain?
I would. If I'm Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, any club, maybe not PSG, that they've got a very good midfield. But if I'm Manchester United, I'm saying not a chance. 60 million, 70 million, I'll say no. I feel like he's that good to what Manchester United have done in the last season we just had. And going forward, who are you going to buy to replace him?
Yeah. Well,
the point?
my view earlier on was get the 57, put 43 to it, and go out and get Elliot Anderson. And then you're starting again because he's a young kid.
Of course, yeah. But Elliot Anderson, Bruno Fernandes, two different players.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Do you know what I mean? You need to get Elliot Anderson as well as keeping Bruno Fernandes. And how much money will it cost you if you sold Bruno Fernandes? You might get 57 million, but maybe you miss out on Champions League
Yes,
next
good
season.
point. Yeah.
So
This was, just to remind you, this was Bruno's quote last November. He said, from the club side, I felt a bit of, if you go, it's not really that bad for us. More than hurting. It makes me sad because I'm a player. They have nothing to criticise me for.
Amen Corner, perhaps the most feared run of holes in golf. Each year, it claims the tournament hopes of many, with balls hitting bunkers and water traps aplenty. But why is it so fearsome, and where did it get its name? Just the thoughts of holes 11, 12 and 13 at Augusta National gives the likes of Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth the shivers. McIlroy hit 3 over and Spieth hit 4 over in their final rounds to blow their hopes of a green jacket in 2011 and 2016 respectively. But did you know Amen Corner's name is inspired by a jazz song from 1933? American sports writer Herbert Warren Wynn
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Good evening, Fang Footballers. Friday, Ade Oladipo alongside Rory Jennings. Yes, we're giving you the chance to win a trip of a lifetime, the 2026 FIFA World Cup. It's courtesy of Adidas. You and a mate could be in New York, June 27th in England. Take on Panama. Hopefully, we're done by then, by the way. Hopefully, we're through. We've got your flights, hotels, spending money, match tickets, and the official Trianda match pool all covered. Just head to talksportwin.com to enter. Full T's and C's available there as well. All right, let's go to the phone lines. 03717 22 3344. We're going to go to Naz, a Manchester United fan. Naz, you want to talk about England?
I certainly do. I hear this talk quite a bit where you talk about Tuchel. He's basically putting a balanced team out and putting not the best 11 players, but the team that will be effective. I follow some of that, but I think there has to be a balance. The best team on the planet, a bunch of 11 individuals. I know they haven't done very well the last couple of seasons, but you look back the last 45, 50 years. Now, what I say to you is, would you take Jed Spence or would you take Alexander-Arnold? And the other element of it for me is you've got, I love Cole Palmer. I hope he goes to United or comes to United. He's a Manchester boy. Love to have him there. Anything other than that would be, travesty of justice. But I don't believe that if you look at our Arsenal against PSG, there were 11 balanced players for Arsenal. PSG were like Harlem Globetrotters. So Tuchel is one of these where you've got someone, a typical systematic German, and sometimes they do come through, but I think you stand a better chance of having the players with a flair.
It's interesting. Sorry, yeah, but he said best 11.
No,
I still think the best 11 will be, like, of the 11, if he's going to pick an 11, I think it's still going to be an 11 that we'd all agree on. It's the others, it's the subs that I think we're talking about.
I don't think we would. I would also, and look, if I was picking my 11 immediately, Cole Palmer would be in it, I think.
No, he wouldn't.
I think he would.
Like, in place of who? Be honest. In place of, he's a 10, so in place of Jude.
No, I would no. Jude Bellingham is one of the very few untouchables in this side. I just think that what you need in these tournaments at some point is you need a Hail Mary. You need the opportunity to turn to a Foden, a Gibbs-White, a Palmer, someone that can pull it out the bag.
Is Eze not that?
Yeah, but you could do with more than one option.
Yeah, agreed.
You could certainly do with more than one option. Equally, I would say that Harry Maguire would start for me. So when we're talking about players left out, Harry Maguire should start. And Trent Alexander-Arnold
not
being
better than Ezri Konsa, is he, though? I think we're being kind. He's not.
Who, Maguire?
Yes, he's not better than Ezri Konsa.
He is. Harry Maguire for England in a tournament like this, when we're playing teams that are going to be sitting back, when potentially we could struggle to break teams down, sticking Harry Maguire in the offensive box.
See, this is the thing we do a lot, and I get that, but we do that more. We talk about him offensively more than we do defensively.
No, defensively, because that's a given. Naturally, if you cross a washing machine into the box, Harry Maguire heads it out. Like, Harry Maguire had anything out of the box. Like that's a given. I'm talking about his properties in the opposition box.
What about his lack of pace? Massive, isn't it? Let's be honest. If England play a high line, we're done if they have to turn in.
But we probably won't play a high line. And if Harry Maguire's in the side, you don't play a high line. You've got to remember at these tournaments, they kind of boil down to at most 3 games. At most, like England will progress from the group. It's basically impossible not to progress from the group now because the best third place goes through. Yeah. So it's basically impossible. 1 win will get you through the group, right? So England get through the group. You're then looking at the last. We could end up playing Congo, like the way that it falls. We could end up playing Congo.
Should beat them.
Then I appreciate it gets a little bit trickier, but it's Mexico. The reason it's tricky though is because it's Mexico in the Azteca. Difficult, but I feel like England will win.
That's frighteningly difficult.
It's not.
Mexico and the Aztecas. You just said that and I got heart palpitations.
No, look, it's a great fixture. It's a great occasion.
To be so intimidating.
That's a fixture that I'd love to go to.
Yeah.
Like that's like watching England play in Mexico against Mexico would be like one of the most historic games that you could be at. So I would naturally love to do that. But it doesn't really start the tournament until, if it all goes to plan, we play Brazil in Miami in the last 16. And that's when Thomas Tuchel needs to earn his money.
Yeah, and then we'll find out. Very quickly, before we go back to the phone lines, it's got a lot tougher now for Serena Wiegmann. There's been another goal in the game between Spain women and England women. World Cup qualifier, Angelina.
Yes, it's Spain 2, England 0. A goal for Alexia Putellas. The superstar showed us exactly why she's won the Ballon d'Or 2 times and why there is a race for her signature as a free agent currently. She was played through by Mariana Caldente on the edge of the box, drove towards England keeper Hannah Hampton, takes the shot. Hampton gets a hand to the ball, but it is nowhere near enough, and it powers into the back of the net. It is Spain 2, England 0.
I can't wait to hear from our next caller. Thank you, Angelina. I can't wait to hear from our next caller, by the way, because we've been speaking about Ezri Konsa versus potentially Stones and Maguire. We've been speaking about Morgan Rogers versus Jude Bellingham. Tyler, the Villa fans, got in touch. Tyler, come on, you hear me and Rory, and I think we've been saying Jude over Morgan Rogers. Yeah. I've been saying Ezri Konsa should start. Maybe Rory don't think so. Go on, give us your viewpoint.
Ezri Konsa, definitely, that's a given. Harry Maguire's not even in the same breath as Ezri Konsa. That's the start. But I was going back to the point you made about the starting 11 numbers.
Yeah.
And we'd all agree, Reece James, that's starting right back. He's number 24.
He's the only one in that. A lot of people say that, but I think he's the only one. We're going.
Rogers, in an interview a few months ago, said he'll always pick the number 7. That's why he wears 27 at the Villa.
Is Rogers better than Jude Bellingham?
Yes.
How?
Because I'll use a point Rory just made about Courtois and Raya. You're talking about Jude Bellingham from 2 seasons ago. If you look at Jude Bellingham's stats and numbers this season, awful. He's been awful for Real Madrid.
Yeah, who would you start then going into this tournament? You start Rogers or Bellingham?
Anderson, Rice with Rogers in the middle,
and Bellingham on the bench.
Bellingham on the bench.
Do you think that's potentially a serious distraction?
But you again, I get your point.
Tyler, Rory, you're right. I mean, no disrespect to Rogers, but if Rogers is on the bench, I almost don't feel like no one's really. If Rogers on the bench, isn't it?
Yeah.
If Jude's on the bench, and every time Rogers makes a mistake, or it's going to point to Jude all the time. All the time. But go on, sorry, Tyler, go on. I mean, you've watched Rogers all season. He's been one of your players of the season. You won a cup.
I've just seen what Rogers is. He's carried a team that spent no money to a European Cup and top 4.
No, he's had a very good season.
Fantastic player. Yeah, fantastic player.
No, do you know what's quite interesting about this debate, Tyler? I don't think anybody isn't aware of the brilliance of Morgan Rogers. You know, the links to Arsenal, who have just won the league, tell you quite how brilliant he is. The love that Thomas Tuchel has shown him. Yeah. So I think he's a class act. I just don't think that in a tournament like this, you can dream of leaving out Jude Bellingham. I think there are about three players that just have to start for England. And Jude Bellingham's one of them, and Morgan Rogers very unfortunate.
I do get your point, but I do also think you go back to Tuchel making it a team. I do half think Bellingham's very I'm him. It's all about me. Make it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What about this as a solution then, Tyler? What about what do you think of Rogers' ability playing on the left?
He's not as effective in the game.
Yeah.
But still a brilliant footballer.
You know what, Tyler? The biggest compliment we can give him, Tyler, is the fact that it's even a debate.
Yeah.
Because a couple of years ago, it wasn't even that. The fact that it's even a debate between Rogers and look, By the way, you're probably right. I'm looking at Thomas Tuchel on our screen now. He probably is going to play Rodgers. So you're probably right.
I think he will. I think you know what you're going to get from Rodgers as well. I think you'll always get an 8 out of 10. I think Bellingham, you can get that 10, but sometimes you do get that 4 or 5.
All right, cheers, Tyler. Thank you very much. Look, we could be wrong. Tyler could be right. Let's go to Gabby, the Arsenal fan. Gabby, what do you want? It's not Gabby, is it? Gabby. No, I'm joking. What do you want to say, Gabs?
Let's first correct Davey. Rory, we could have the book of Rory, like the book of...
Oh, that was just about to get going.
Sorry, you've got to repeat
Gabby,
that.
start again. Gabby, 1 sec. Start again, Gabby. Go ahead.
Right, we're going to come with the book of Rory. This is all the quotes and the misgivings. What was it? Verts was the transfer of the season back in July last year. I remember having a conversation. I've got the receipt, Rory. I've got the receipt of Haaland. I've got the receipt of all the other little wanting Chelsea to lose for football's sake. Listen, as long as them gooners, Declan Rice is in the middle of that park, we'll make semi-finals at the minimum. That is what you have to build the team around. Declan Rice, he is one of the best players I've seen in my lifetime. And if Rory disagrees with it, you need to give him an Archie slap, mate. A dry one right round the old...
An Archie slap.
One of the best players of your lifetime, did you say, Declan Rice?
Mate, do you know what? Declan Rice, there's no ceiling with him, mate. And what he does, you're going to see this summer, what he does, it's not so much people think it's all got to be a technical ability. I think he's as good as Rodri, if not better. And I think he'll show it. And I think he'll come in... I honestly do. I really do.
He didn't look like he was a better player than Rodri when Rodri was giving him an education at Wembley in the League Cup final.
It didn't matter. That was a nothing game, Rory.
Well, it was a trophy at the end of it. How many times you haven't won that? You haven't won that trophy for about 3 decades.
We know we know Chelsea are the bridesmaids over the last 7 visits.
Oh look, he's won one league title. One league title in 22 years, and he's talking about bridesmaids. One league title in 22 years. You're the bridesmaids of Europe.
I'm not on national radio and social media putting out big statements, mate, and being factually.
You are. You've just said that it was a nothing. You are on national radio now, and you said it was a nothing game, playing in a League Cup final at Wembley.
If it was a big game, Kepa would have played Ryan.
So it wasn't a big game. It wasn't a big game. Was it a big game when Vitinha was giving him an education in Budapest?
Well, listen.
Sorry, you're the one on radio giving it a big un. Was it a big game when Vitinha was showing him what's what?
We subjected them to no shots, and we're the only team.
Oh yeah, put that in the trophy cabinet. PSG had no shot. Yeah.
Rory, do you know what? We didn't even need to do none of this without cheating or causing issues. We've done this naturally. Arsenal, one of the only clubs like Liverpool and Man United, have done this naturally.
What was natural? Was it natural when Usmanov was financing the club? Was that natural growth?
He never put the money in. The money's cut. Listen, I've just gone and bought a bond at 18 grand, Rory. You know what I mean? To get a jump on the season ticket, beat the 100,000.
18 grand
on the list.
Wow, indeed. That could go on and on and on. That was fun. Yeah, Roy versus get Gabby on back again. By the way, in about 20 minutes. I want part 2 of that. When we come back, we are gonna hear from Faye Carruthers, who's out in America, obviously for talkSPORT England's correspondent. She's gonna react to what she heard from Thomas Tuchel.
be considered a big club, like the likes of Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea.
What, Man City's bigger than Arsenal?
Well, in Europe they are. They've won the competition.
Cool, they won the... But what are we saying? Are we talking about trophies or are we talking about...
I'm talking about dining at the top table with all the big heads that have won it. Do you think you need...
What, so we're only basing this on Europe? So if you win the European Cup, that means you're a big club?
In Europe.
Well, are we not going off all the trophies that we've won?
We haven't won that many.
We've won
Arsenal? Are you joking?
Well, okay, take FA Cups out of it.
No, forget FA Cups. Leagues.
You can
What about
include
leagues?
it.
We've won more Premier
FA
Leagues
Cup.
than Liverpool.
I know, but I'm just saying, my question is, do you think you need to win Europe's biggest competition to be considered a big club?
No, because I think we are one of the biggest clubs in the world anyway. And that'll just be a cherry on top.
We are. I don't think you're in the top 10.
You what? Idiots. Are you talking about your local pub or are you talking about the world?
You're certainly not in the top 5.
In the world?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, hold on. I'll ask you questions.
I would agree with that.
Honestly.
I would agree with that.
There you go.
Top 5
There
in
you
the
go.
world.
Real Madrid, Barca, Bayern,
Man United,
Liverpool.
See this Real Madrid stuff? They're not the draw they used to be, bro. I'll be honest with you. Around the world,
they're bigger than Arsenal.
In Spain, maybe.
No.
I would have to say, yeah, 5.
There you go. He agrees with me.
Okay, listen. They're more. They've been.
Do you agree with me?
They've been more successful.
Do you
than
agree
us.
with me?
They've
You're not
been
in
more
the top-
successful than us.
And that means
in
they're
terms
bigger.
of popularity.
Good evening, thankful, but it's Friday. Ade Oladipo alongside Rory Jennings. All right, we have a Thomas Tuchel exclusive. He sat down and spoke with our England correspondent, Faye Carruthers, and she started by asking the burning question everyone wants to know. Will Alex Scott start tomorrow against New Zealand?
There's been reports that Alex Scott will get minutes. And obviously he's the only one of the youngsters that you've brought over that's on the list of 55.
Yeah.
Is that the thinking with that?
Well, the thinking at the moment is that every one of our 19 player, I think it is, our 19 player, they need the 45 minutes. And we need to move around the players a little bit because we have 3 number 9s and we have 9 defenders for 8 positions tomorrow. So twice a back 4 is 8 positions, but we have 9. So one of them needs to play out of position if we want to play them, and then it has some consequences. Where if we would now push, for example, Reece James on a 6, but then we have suddenly 3 6s, or if we let someone else play on the number 8 position, that is not finally decided. You have to wait until tomorrow. All of them can have, one of them will get a cap of the youngsters, and of course Alex would also deserve it, but it's not decided yet.
The squad numbers in that case, do we read anything into that? You know what it's like, everybody sees the 1 to 11 and thinks that's the 1 to 11?
Yeah, it is not. It is and it is not, of course. There's like, I was not very much involved in these numbers, way less than you might imagine. They sent me the list, and I think I had an opinion on 1 or 2 numbers that we then changed, but there's like a whole thing going on. Players have wishes for their numbers. They want to keep the numbers sometimes that they had in former tournaments. They want to keep the number that they have. Some want to keep their number from the club. So there's a whole thing going on, and
big jigsaw puzzle.
The times from 1 to 11 are behind us. I was a big fan of that, but this does not exist anymore.
2 more quick questions for you. One very pertinent, because I'm sure you've seen the photographs of the pitch in Tampa, and are there any concerns for you on that?
Yeah, hopefully not yet, but you make me all concerned because you ask me all the question about the pitch, and now I am concerned. I wasn't before the press conference. People tell me, and our greenkeeper, I think, went there, and they tell me it will be okay, and it should be okay, and let's hope it's okay. If we find out tomorrow it is not okay, then again, we will adapt. We will adapt and maybe change some decisions, but at the moment we plan to play 2 full teams of 45 minutes.
Thomas Tuchel there speaking to our England correspondent, Faye Carruthers, who's been kind enough to join us now. Faye, thank you very much. Before we get into parts of that interview, that conversation with Thomas Tuchel, just in general in America, is it World Cup fever? Me and Rory have been having a debate about whether or not the Americans know it's actually going on, because obviously there's the NBA finals, there's so much in America. Can you sense that the country know there is the best players in the world descended upon them very soon?
Yeah, they do. But I mean, we've been based in Miami, so they're one of the host cities. So there is World Cup FIFA paraphernalia everywhere, pretty much around. And actually, we were down by South Beach yesterday, and there are giant footballs of all the teams, apparently 31 of the 48 teams all around. So there's plenty about the World Cup. A taxi driver yesterday is a Haiti fan, and he was talking all about them. Said he was going to do England a favour and top the group. He's in a group with Scotland and Brazil and Morocco, so that we wouldn't have to face Morocco or Brazil in the quarter-final if England then top their group. So, there's plenty of people. They're big sports fans all around here. We've been to a couple of sports bars. We were in a big one last night. Sport's huge, and yes, soccer is not the main sport of choice, if you like, but they're well aware that a tournament is landing for sure.
You spoke to Gareth Southgate so many times in the lead up to big tournaments, and Gareth always, I felt, handled the media so well. Thomas Tuchel slightly maybe different in the way he approaches it. It's very, very just straight to the point. How would you compare the two so close to a tournament? What Gareth Southgate was like in talking to the media, and what Thomas Tuchel's like?
Well, I think they're both really clear, really relaxed. Thomas is, he put producer Deck's sunglasses on just before he started the interview.
Okay.
That you heard there with me. He's very laid back. He's a real character and a real delight to talk to, because he's really clear. If you ask him a question, he answers it straight as best he can. I think he thinks that clarity and communication is really important, and I believe the same. Then that there's no space then for rumour. You'll still get rumour, you'll still get reports, you'll still get people inserting what they think is the truth in there, but most of the time he very much says it how it is. So there is no maybe he'll do this, maybe he'll do that. No, he says he's going to do this, and then he might change it if he feels like it. And Gareth Southgate was always really relaxed going into a tournament additionally, but slightly not guarded. I don't think that's the right word at all. He was always got a really dry sense of humour as well. They're both just relaxed characters really, and make it interesting leading into a tournament when you kind of get the opportunity, as we luckily do, to pick their brains.
Faye, Alex Scott had an amazing season with Bournemouth. Are we expected to see him feature in this game against New Zealand?
Well, I asked Thomas that exact question, because that's been the reports, and he said he still hasn't fully decided, but one of the youngsters will get a debut. It would probably be more likely to be Alex Scott, because he's the only one of those players that's on the 55-man long list that the FA had to submit to FIFA ahead of the tournament. So he's the only player that could legitimately be called up to replace anybody that had to pull out injured, God forbid. So yes, probably. But again, he hasn't made final decisions yet. It was interesting hearing him decide that everybody's going to play 45 minutes. I think that's really fascinating. And then, because of the difference in profiles of the players and positions that they play and the numbers, as he was discussing there, some players might have to play a little bit out of position as a result of that. But it's all about connection. It's all about getting energy back in the legs, acclimatisation at this point. So yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see if Alex Scott does get some minutes. No, I was laughing about this. What if he gets some minutes and he absolutely destroys it and scores a couple of worldies? I mean, he's almost like you can't play him, but who knows, right? Who knows what could happen in this World Cup? One of the big talking points, Faye, seems to be that number 10 slot. Obviously, no Morgan Gibbs-White, no Phil Foden, no Cole Palmer. A couple of years ago, it was a shoo-in that Jude Bellingham will not just lead the camp, but almost be England's best player. Now, all of a sudden, Morgan Rogers has come to the fore. That's a big talking point, isn't it? Whether or not he goes with Morgan Rogers, or Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, it is and it isn't. I absolutely get your point, but they can play on the pitch together. Thomas Tuchel has said that previously. They'll push each other for that starting place, but they can also, Jude can play slightly deeper. You'll remember actually in the friendlies that he actually played 2 10s. He played Foden and Palmer to get together. So, I think that the key part of this tournament is being adaptable, picking the right players for the right opponents, for the right conditions. seeing how they're recovering, see how they're pushing each other in training, and they're good friends, Jude and Morgan. So they'll push each other as far as they possibly can to make sure that the right one of them, gets the starting spot against whichever team it is. Jude Bellingham's got the number 10 shirt, but as you heard there from Thomas Tuchel, that the numbers don't really make any difference. And because Jude was out for a period, it did seem as if he was favouring Morgan Rogers. But we know the talent that Morgan has, but we know the talent that Jude Bellingham has. And this World Cup as well is going to be about moments. And Thomas Tuchel's assistant coach Anthony Barry has talked about that. You're going to get big moments in games, and who's the player that you want taking those big moments in games? It's somebody like Jude Bellingham. So I think we're just lucky to have both of them.
Indeed, good problems for Thomas Tuchel to have. Faye, really appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much. Faye Carruthers, talkSPORT's England correspondent out in Miami. Remember, England versus New Zealand. It's an international friendly in the lead-up to the World Cup is live and exclusive on talkSPORT tomorrow. Adrian Durham alongside Jim Proudfoot and former England captain Stuart Pearce. Game gets underway at 9 o'clock. All right, this is Thank Football. It's Friday, just coming up to 9 o'clock. We're going to chat more World Cup, this time, though, from an American perspective.
I remember going back a couple of years when he was linked with a move to Real Madrid, and Bournemouth fell off a cliff after that because he seemed to be sort of wavered by what happened with the attention that came his way when the big boys came calling. So he's got to almost mature himself. Next couple of years down the line, maybe he will be able to handle it a little bit better this time around. But if Liverpool had any reservations, I would imagine that that would be one of them. Bournemouth finished 6th last season, 1 position and 3 points behind Liverpool in the league. They qualified for next season.
From the Toffees to the Tractor Boys, the Eagles to the Seagulls, Gunners, Bees, Hammers and Magpies, Premier League teams have got a load of crazy nicknames. Ever wondered where they came from? Let's start with Everton. They're dubbed the Toffees, but why? Well, because when the club was formed, just down the road there were 2 local toffee shops. Ye Ancient Everton Toffee House and Mother Noblet's Toffee Shop were big fan favourites. Next, they say if you can't beat 'em, join 'em, and that's exactly what Ipswich Town did when it came to their nickname. The term Tractor Boys used to be chanted by their opponents as a way of putting the team down for their farming background. But during one game back in the late 90s, Ipswich were 1-0 up and they decided to flip the script. 1-0 to the Tractor Boys, they sang, and a new nickname was born. Let's head to Leicester, famous for more than just a red, well, orangey cheese and Jamie Vardy. Leicestershire is also the birthplace of fox hunting, hence the Foxes. Next up, turns out apples are not the only fruit that don't fall far from the tree. Bournemouth's nickname, the Cherries, comes from the fact the club's stadium was originally built right next to a bunch of cherry orchards. This next story actually involves 2 club nicknames. It started with Crystal Palace. They were having an absolute nightmare run back in the early 70s. They'd been relegated after a terrible spell and manager Malcolm Allison decided enough was enough. He wanted a new nickname, something strong, fast and destined for success. Something exactly like an eagle. But there's more to this one. Brighton were in search of a nickname too, and Palace finally gave them what they needed. In a heated match between the two back in 1976, Palace fans began chanting, "Eagles, Eagles." And some clever Brighton fans came up with the perfect reply, "Seagulls, Seagulls." Not all club nicknames have a crazy story, though. Take the Gunners. That just comes from the fact a group of munitions workers in the Royal Arsenal factory in Woolwich set up the club in 1886. On the flip side, some nicknames seem simple, but there's a bit more to them, like West Ham. The Hammers is actually nothing to do with the ham part of the name. It comes from the fact the club used to be called Thames Ironworks FC and was made up of workmen and shipbuilders. So next time the away end's chanting their crazy nickname, you'll now know exactly where it came from.
Good evening, you're listening to Fake Footballers Friday. Myself, Ade Oladipo, alongside broadcaster Rory Jennings. Just gone at 9 o'clock. Remember, with you until 10. We've been chatting England all show today. What shape are the Three Lions in heading into their first warm-up game against New Zealand tomorrow night? According to Thomas Tuchel, very good shape. Still loads of time left in the show, so we are going to do some predictions for you ahead of what's billed as the biggest World Cup in history. Certainly most teams, 48 teams in this World Cup. So we are going to talk about that as well. This is Fake Footballers Friday on talkSPORT.
The World Cup bandwagon rolls on.
This World Cup will by far take soccer to the next stage in America.
Just love it. Love every moment because it is a beautiful game.
Lionel Messi pens the ultimate ecstatic chapter to complete his already extraordinary story.
They give us the faith to believe in these kind of things again.
Let the history unfold.
Here comes the Vinicius Junior. 1-0.
Mbappe has a hat-trick. He has his place in history.
We are among probably the best team in the world.
A wonder goal from the Wonder Kid, Lamine Yamal.
Teams win championships. It's as simple as that.
1-0 England. Hamden can hardly believe it. For what a night this is for Scotland.
Every game's big in the World Cup.
You heard it at the top there. This World Cup will take sort of football, he said soccer actually, but football in America to another level. And I guess that's the plan, right? It has happened already, though. When you think of what Messi's done since going to Inter Miami and just the explosion of football fans that he's created. Let's welcome in a man that know a lot about this, US broadcaster Brian Sciaretta has been kind enough to join us. Brian, really appreciate you coming on. Let's talk about just how big this is in America. Me and Rory were having a bit of a debate, and I said, if you were to stop 10 people in America, how many would know that the World Cup's happening on their doorstep in 6 days' time? How many do you think out of that 10?
Oh, I think, 6 or 7, 8 maybe would know what's going on, and and probably about 4 would probably have some kind of direct knowledge about it. I think, and that's a lot. That's a lot of people in the United States when you look at a country this size and look at all the stuff that people are interested in. To have that kind of a unification of interests is very difficult. But I think the World Cup will gain momentum substantially as it goes on.
We've heard quite a lot about the United States team. Obviously, Mauricio Pochettino is the manager there. What are you expecting? Do you think that there's a chance that there could be some success on some level? I think it's always great for a tournament when a home nation does well. What can we expect from the USA?
Oh man, it's really hard to predict what this U.S. team. They've been all over the place. I mean, they defeated Uruguay 5-1 in November, and then they struggled mightily in March. But part of that might be Pochettino not wanting to tip his hand as to how he's going to play this team. I thought they looked pretty good against Senegal in the win, the 3-2 win last weekend. So we'll see. It's coming in for a rocky landing, but I think they might just get it right. The group is manageable, but there are a lot of hard fighters in that group. So I think that, getting out of the group is always the goal. And knockouts are an entirely difficult thing to predict. I think they might be able to notch one knockoff win, and then things become uphill from there. But, I think it's that should be kind of the normal expectations for this team, as it's been pretty much for every World Cup since it was here 30 years ago.
I want you to talk about that, the 94 World Cup. Obviously, the hope would have been that soccer would have grown, I guess, inconceivably massive, right, since that World Cup. And it has to an extent. How big has soccer grown in the States since the 94 World Cup until this one?
It's absolutely enormous. The 1994 World Cup was a home run. I mean, from that started a domestic league that is still going. That was always believed to be impossible. The games are readily accessible. Every major league in Europe, you can watch on any number of channels that cover the sport. And broadcast deals are worth a lot of money. Kids' participation levels are surging. So, I think they got everything that they wanted to out of the last World Cup, and then some. Obviously each step becomes harder and harder to take when you're starting at, essentially zero. Not to say they were at zero in 94, because the team had qualified in 1990, but again, that was still college players, amateur players. Like, everything's changed. Now you have Champions League players on the national team.
Yeah,
that was just unfair. That was just not thought of as possible.
Yeah. Alexi Lalas has been replaced by someone like Christian Pulisic.
Yeah, lots changed.
Who's it's certainly an elevation. What are we expecting from him this tournament? This is his time to shine.
I think it was a lot of mental problems coming in, confidence issues, leading into this World Cup. He hadn't scored in 2026 for club or country. He's been pretty much blanked for 5-6 months. He finally scored in that win against Senegal, and I always felt that with him, they were going to come in droves once he got that one, and I'm still standing by that. So I think he's going to have a good World Cup, and now the question is, can he help elevate the rest of his team? And I think that's encouraging too.
Yeah, it's interesting. I went to go and do a Milan-Juventus game at the San Siro, and there was so much conversation about Pulisic and this drought that he was on, and you hope just for, I guess, America, that he can start scoring. And if he plays well, I still think he's America's best player. I do want to talk about where it ranks currently in sports. And look, it's going to be impossible, I think, to ever catch the NFL, and it may be to an extent the NBA, right? Especially if the Knicks win. I almost feel like basketball is just going to keep on growing as well. Can you see a scenario in a few years' time when it maybe catches baseball, or at least gets close to catching baseball as the number 3 sport in America?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of participation, I think it's already ahead of American football. I mean, in organized senses, because to play American football is very difficult, right? Like, a lot of people watch it, but not nearly as many people play it. You just got to strap on pads. You need 80 people to play an American football game. So it has that going for it. In basketball, of course, it helps if you're 6'7" and
or 7'4" in Wemby's case. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of a little bit more relatable athletes, I think, when you come down to soccer. But yeah, sure. Sports in the U.S. always changes big time. If you go back to the 1950s, one of the biggest sports maybe was boxing, and basketball wasn't nearly as big. And then ice hockey's very regionalized with where it's big. It's huge up by near in Michigan and places near Canada. It's not as big, when you get down into Texas. It's just kind of the way this country is. Things ebb and flow. So yeah, basketball really didn't start getting going as we know it till the 80s. So yeah, of course, I think that there's a path forward for football, soccer in this country. That already, when you start looking at it in terms of age groups, the numbers are very encouraging when you start looking at people under 30 and even under 40. It's just they've now grown up with the game on television when they were in single digits. So I think that's all encouraging, and I think you're talking about something very different, in 20 years' time.
I want to quickly end on a negative, Brian, and I hate to do it, but obviously the cost over here in England, sort of their I mean, people go crazy when sort of football clubs put up ticket prices, just because you think of football as very much a working class sport. So everyone can, if you want to, go and watch it. And you look at some of the ticket prices, and I understand that it is the World Cup. So you expect ticket prices to be a bit more expensive, but you hear some of the horror stories about how much it's costing, hotel fees, train prices, etc., etc. Has there been any backlash from football fans? And can anything be done with it? Are FIFA speaking about it? Just because it does seem as though you are alienating the people that have grown the sport in these countries that are coming to the country.
It's a really unfortunate situation. They are alienating fans. They're turning away potential new fans. They're not going to grow as many fans as they did in '94 because of this issue. And it's also rearing its head, and just to draw a parallel for the 2028 Olympics, they already had their first ticket drop. And all of a sudden, it was costing like $1,400 to get a swimming ticket, and when it was $150 in France 2 years ago. All of a sudden, these organizations, they come to the United States and they just go crazy when it comes to like putting on things and charging people, and they just kind of run to America like it's an ATM of the world. So it really is unfortunate. I think it's going to hurt in terms of people attending games, and hope that they'll be inspired when they watch them. For some of these games that aren't yet sold out, you maybe hope that there's going to be some big cuts this week in prices, because there is a little bit of room opportunity now to get beyond it. But unfortunately, you can't get people to travel to these games in the way that they can, because that requires planning them months in advance. It's unfortunate how it played out, but all the criticisms is that it's not going to maximize its potential, even though it still can do very well I'm speaking about the tournament itself.
Yeah, it's a shame, but it will be an incredible tournament regardless. Brian, really appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much. Great Brian Charetta there, US soccer broadcaster. All right, there's been another goal in the game between England and Spain in the Women's World Cup qualifiers. Not great news this for England. Angelina.
No, it's not. It's Spain 3, England 0. Alexia Putellas gets her second of the night. Ona Badie cuts the ball back from the byline inside the box, just on the right-hand side, straight to Putellas, who is waiting on the edge of the 6-yard box. Lucy Bronze does a fantastic job of keeping her first shot out on the goal line, but Putellas' second attempt finds its way into the back of the net. Serena Wiegman has reacted immediately, taking Ella Toone and Lauren James off for Beth Mead and Chloe Kelly, hoping that they can somehow turn this game around. It's Spain 3, England 0.
On the theme of Spain, we are going to talk about the biggest club in the world, Spanish football giants Real Madrid, who have been making a bit of noise recently. This is Thank Football It's Friday.
When you get these Arsenal fans ranting and raving and saying some of the things that they do, and then you get this nitwit over here popping up with his little brand of observation in social media.
What, Piers?
Yeah.
Little brand of 9 million followers.
Whatever, how many followers you've got, Piers.
Well, a lot more than you, Sancho.
Fantastic, but I don't judge my work by that.
Little brand.
But I don't judge myself by those numbers.
This is a little brand.
My YouTube channel is 4.5 million subscribers.
I'm delighted.
I have 9 million followers on X. So when I say something to 9 million
delighted.
people, I'm saying it to a lot more millions than you.
I'm delighted.
No, it's not a little brand. I'm not a little nitpick.
No, I'm delighted.
You may not like what I say.
I'm delighted.
But the platform I have is infinitesimally bigger than yours.
I'm delighted. You've pivoted into the digital world and hung on by your fingertips, right? But the bottom line is I'm looking at the content. I'm looking at the content, and you're asking me why.
Yes.
People are reacting negatively
there you go.
to what's being said. So I floated the idea without a great deal of commitment to it that silly comments that are antagonistic made by nitwits like him with big audiences.
What silly
is
comment?
that better?
Well, give me a silly
well,
comment.
I don't study your...
Not to sound negative in any way. I'm not a negative. I'm going to the World Cup. I'm very happy to go there. When the games are stretched across Mexico, Canada, and the US, that's just too big. Like, you want football fever in a certain area. You just don't get football fever because it's just spread.
It's just how it is now, though. It's completely trying to maximise the amount of money.
Yeah, we're taking every penny possible.
Yeah, I mean, look, FIFA, that's what they are.
It's a disgrace, isn't it?
Yeah. They sell air to the people in the stadiums.
yeah. If you're breathing, struggling, just press this button and get, It is a disgrace. All right, let's talk Real Madrid. Loads going on. It's elections drama in Real Madrid. Florentino Perez, in 2009, he returned as Real Madrid president. Did well as well, didn't he? Stood for 17 years, went unopposed in 4 elections. Very presidential over there, isn't it? I mean, it is literally like you are becoming the president of Spain. After what was a down season, he now has a challenger. And that gentleman's called Enrique Riquelme, who's made a huge promise to fans, saying that if he were to win the elections, he will bring in Rodri and Erling Haaland to the club. Obviously, Florentino Perez is saying, okay, if that's the case, I'm going to bring in Michael Olise, Konate, and many others. I think he's even said like Calafiore and Gvardiol. It is crazy, isn't it? How it's one of them. You can basically make promises.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
but he went on a TV show, by the way. He went on like the Spanish equivalent of Terry Wogan.
Of Terry Wogan.
Terry Wogan. Okay, Jonathan Ross. What's
a bit more like it.
What's my go-to?
No. You went really 80s.
Terry Wogan.
Terry Wogan.
What's your go? What should I do here?
Jonathan Ross is good.
Jonathan Ross. Yeah. So he went on the equivalent of the Jonathan Ross show, and basically said he was going to sign Haaland, and then got out a Haaland Real Madrid shirt.
And Man City are going to sue him.
Man City are threatening to sue.
You know, when I see that, I don't believe that there hasn't been a conversation with Haaland's representative.
Yeah, obviously that's strictly your opinion, but I totally see where you're coming from.
You're just making sure I don't get sued. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, well, look, Alf Inge Haaland has spoken and said that he didn't know anything about this. So Alf Inge Haaland has come out and said he didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing, and like Real Madrid as a spectacle, they're just fascinating, aren't they? Like, how are they in this situation where they're potentially having to do this? There's a campaign going on, there's an election going on, and both potential candidates are coming out now making their plea to the fans.
Making bold claims.
Bold claims.
That's ridiculous.
And obviously, you've got Erling Haaland potentially going one way. It looks like Real Madrid are about to launch £130 million for Michael Olise as well, which obviously will be linked to the Florentino Perez parade. It's unreal, isn't it?
If you are a fan of Real Madrid and someone's saying, I will get you, let's just say, Olise and Konate, someone's saying Rodri and Haaland, who are you voting for?
I think you need Haaland. I think if you're Real Madrid, you need Haaland.
So we'll get rid of Mbappe?
No, it's not so much get rid of. It's probably keep Mbappe, push Mbappe out wide. Maybe Vinicius Junior were to leave. That isn't working anyway.
No,
like I saw the two groups. I think it was like Vinicius Junior and his crew walking in.
Yeah.
And then I saw Mbappe and all his clique walking in. There isn't room in the same city for two kings.
No.
And Vinicius Junior is obviously not ready to take one for the team.
He's not ready to say
to do what Wayne Rooney did. Wayne Rooney, to his credit, when he was at Manchester United, this is what makes Wayne Rooney such an icon, such a brilliant player. Part of what made Cristiano Ronaldo so brilliant, obviously I'm not taking anything away from Ronaldo and his own brilliance, but Wayne Rooney allowed him a platform. Wayne Rooney sacrificed a little bit from himself. He pushed himself out out wide into certain positions. He allowed himself to be a foil slightly for Cristiano Ronaldo.
Did that for Robin van Persie as well.
Did it for Robin van Persie?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a very gifted. He was a gift to play with, Wayne Rooney. Vinicius Junior's not cut from the same cloth. He wants to be the king. You can argue why he wants to be that. You could argue that maybe he should have been given an opportunity to be on the throne. But ultimately, if Kylian Mbappe's in the club, Kylian Mbappe's going to be playing.
I love the excitement of this, by the way, because we are of an age when we remember the Galacticos, where it felt like Real Madrid signed the best player in the world every single season. It's like it was just a thing, right? Whether it be Kaká or Benzema or Ronaldo or Modric, everyone went there. And I feel like they've watched Paris Saint-Germain go back to back, and they're like, okay, this needs to stop.
Yeah.
And what do? We get the best in class right now, whether that be Elise.
Yeah.
If Harry Kane was 28, they would have said Harry Kane.
Yeah.
But being 32 has probably just missed the boat a little bit. Or Haaland. I love this.
I think they
it's
should
exciting.
go for Haaland. I think what else they need to do. Look, they've made some very intelligent signings. I think Konate from Liverpool is a clever signing for nothing.
Free, yeah.
Denzel Dumfries again for a very low amount of money.
By the way, that's a problem for Trent. That is.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a problem.
It's a good signing as well.
Because if you're Jose Mourinho, who might come in, I know they've got to pay Benfica. Who do you want? Do you want a defender or do you want Trent?
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what I mean? That's not good looks for Trent.
I agree. But do you know what I think they should do? I think they should be raiding Paris Saint-Germain.
I don't
like
think
in the way that they use.
Do you think they can?
Well, isn't the adage about Real Madrid? They can sign anyone. Everyone wants to play for Real Madrid. Nobody turns down Los Blancos, is what we're told.
Yeah.
Kvaratskhelia.
I think that might be changing. There's something about Paris. Obviously, look, Real Madrid are massive, and you're right. Kvaratskhelia could be the answer, right? The Vinicius Junior replacement.
Why would you leave them now? They could potentially win 3 European Cups in a row.
Mate, they're just becoming huge.
Yeah, why would you leave them now? I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree on some level. But Real Madrid don't usually take no for an answer, but it's fascinating. And if Erling Haaland goes, and look, I don't think he will, I don't think this is real, but if
I don't you think he will? He's won absolutely everything you can win at Man City.
Look,
he's filled his boots.
Whether he does or not, Riquelme going on a TV show with a Haaland Real Madrid shirt doesn't make me feel like it's gonna. Whether it's gonna happen or not, I don't know. But this isn't the indicator.
I just can't believe, as presidential candidates, that you even just say, "Okay, vote for me, and I will get you Elise." When Elise's got 3 years left on his Bayern Munich contract, like, how do you get away with doing this?
I know it could be so detrimental to what Man City are as well. So Man City this summer, they've already lost Pep Guardiola, which is about the biggest loss that they could ever face. They've also lost Bernardo Silva, John Stones. If that ends up being Erling Haaland and Rodri as well, the nucleus of what delivered the treble is gone.
Yeah.
The point of that treble, like the spine of that treble is gone. And Enzo Maresca, I don't understand what Real Madrid...
All of a sudden, you feel like you could nick players from Man City. Fair enough, Bernardo Silva's gone as well.
But look, Bernardo Silva, John Stones, Rodri, Erling Haaland and Guardiola, if that's the players that leave, Mikel Arteta will be the happiest man in the country.
Indeed. Very quickly, on your favourite manager of all time, Jose Mourinho. I don't know how he's done this, but all of a sudden he's worked his way back to the biggest job in world football. Like, how's he done that?
Because
how's he gone from Tottenham to Roma to Benfica? He was linked with Rangers, and now he's going to Real Madrid.
It's because he's the governor.
It's incredible, though, isn't it?
And there is...
What does that mean? Does that show there's a shortage of managers, though?
Oh, it massively shows
Like,
that there is a dearth of talent of top managers.
Yeah.
Do you know, listen to this. Do you know Michael Carrick is the longest serving manager, apart from Mikel Arteta, in the top 6? Genuinely.
Oh, my God.
Genuinely.
He's been there 6 months.
Yeah. Like, there is... Look, Man City have Enzo Maresca. Chelsea have Xabi Alonso. Michael Carrick at Manchester United. De Zerbi at Tottenham. It's a very weird Premier League. There is one winner of the Premier League title in the Premier League. He's the only... And he's the longest serving manager in the Premier League.
Oh, no. You forgot Unai Emery. In your stat. Unai Emery. What are you going to say? Don't count Villa as the top 6?
It's not about what I count. Aston Villa aren't seen as being in the top 6, are they? In the big 6?
Well, I go to the table.
No, but
what would you go to?
Aston Villa aren't. No.
Yeah, European. They won a European trophy in their table.
Bournemouth are 6th. They're obviously not in the big 6.
Oh, so is it your big 6 now?
No, I'm just talking about the traditional big 6.
I think it needs to be looked at.
What do you think? Kick Tottenham out and put Villa in?
Yeah, gone.
Yeah.
Tottenham are gone.
Probably right.
Yeah. All right, this is Thank Football. It's Friday. When we come back, Too Good, Too Bad. Absolute wet wipes. The lot of yous, absolute wet wipes. Wow. Oh, he wore a PSG top. Oh, he jumped around. Wow. Do you know what? If it happened again tomorrow, I would do it again tomorrow. Wow. Up the Chelsea. Here we go. There she There she is. Look at that. Wow. Look at that bad boy.
He took it too far, Dino. He took it too far. He took it too far. Up the PSG. Up the PSG. Up the Champions League. Up the Chelsea. Oh, Cundy, you legend. We absolutely love you. Everyone loves you. Sports Bar loves you. The people love you. The Arsenal fans hate you. But who cares? Who cares? You've done it for everyone. Apart from that Chelsea lot. Apart from that Arsenal.
Amen Corner, perhaps the most feared run of holes in golf. Each year it claims the tournament hopes of many, with balls hitting bunkers and water traps aplenty. But why is it so fearsome, and where did it get its name? Just the thoughts of holes 11, 12 and 13 at Augusta National gives the likes of Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth the shivers. McIlroy hit 3 over and Spieth hit 4 over in their final rounds to blow their hopes of a green jacket in 2011 and 2016 respectively. But did you know Amen Corner's name is inspired by a jazz song from 1933? American sports writer
Good evening, thank football. It's Friday. Ade Oladipo Rory Jennings just gone 9:30 with you for the next half an hour. You heard it there. The latest episode of How to Win the World Cup is now live. Matt Ford and comedian Jacob Hawley sit down with England legend John Barnes to discuss England's chances this summer and if Thomas Tuchel can lead the Three Lions to the World Cup. Barnes says England have not underachieved at previous tournaments despite public perception. They should have won something though since 1966.
You know, it just feel like, I don't know, you just feel like we've underachieved, I guess.
We've maximised our potential. How could we underachieve? When we finished second, we were not the number 2 team in the world. How is that underachieving? Whenever have we been the best team in the world to win the World Cup? How have we underachieved?
You're making him miserable now. You're making him upset.
How have we underachieved?
We should have beaten Italy in that Euros final.
And other teams should have beaten us. We should have beaten Germany in the semi-final. 90. We played better than Germany. Belgium should have beaten us before. Cameroon should have beaten us before. They were 2-0 up. But we don't remember that, do we? So
that doesn't suit my argument.
Exactly. There you go. So what we've done is, if you are the number 4 team in the world and you get to the semi-final, you haven't underachieved.
I'm going to defer to Rory Jennings here, who seems to have taken a lot of anger from that little comment from the legend that is John Barnes. The reason I support Liverpool. Go on.
Yeah, John Barnes being a legend and a brilliant player doesn't make him right in this debate. He's obviously wrong.
Why is he wrong?
He's obviously wrong because there were opportunities where simply where you rank doesn't mean where you finish.
No, you're right. Once you go into games, all that ranking stuff.
Exactly, it's completely irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant where you rank going into a tournament if you get yourself into a situation where you can win that tournament. Like, we have countless examples of teams winning cups that they have no right to win according to their rankings.
Yeah, Greece.
Yeah, but FA Cups, Premier League titles. So no, and also the point that was put to John about that game against Italy, England obviously pressed the self-destruct button against Italy. We had one shot at home in a home final against an Italian side, by the way, an Italian side that didn't qualify for a World Cup either side of that tournament. We had one shot on target in 120 minutes of football at home. That's cowardly.
Crazy.
That was cowardly.
And in England legend John Barnes there on How to Win the World Cup. It's available now wherever you get your podcast from, and you can watch it on the talkSPORT World Cup YouTube channel. All right, it's now time for this.
Too good?
Todd Bowley has become our sporting director. The man's never worked in European football before. So the fact that he's now in charge of this recruitment drive fills me a little bit with fear.
Too bad.
Going out and signing with Charlison, it's huge, isn't it? He will certainly score goals for them.
You know, we've got an extra too bad here for you, if you like it. England versus Spain, or should I say Spain versus England in Women's World Cup qualifiers. It was 3-0. It's now 4, Angelina.
Yes, Spain 4, England 0. A goal for Claudia Pina. She receives the ball just inside the box. She took her time with it and just fired it straight into the far corner of the net. No problem whatsoever. This is starting to get embarrassing for England. It is Spain 4, England 0.
Yeah, very embarrassing indeed. All right, this is Too Good, Too Bad, but me and Rory Jennings take it in turns to pick out a player we're looking forward to see playing at the World Cup and one who needs a performance this summer, maybe for different reasons other than just not having a good season so far. Rory, let's start on the lighter side of things. Who are you looking forward to seeing play? There's so many, isn't it? I mean, you could be 100 players.
I think the best footballer at the tournament is Lamine Yamal.
And that is a statement.
Is it a controversial one?
No, but there are other runners and riders.
Yeah,
you just rather than say one of, you said the.
No, I think the other players that are very good players, they aren't what I consider to be like the best in the world. I think Lamine Yamal, I'm never going to think a defender is the best player in the world, even if they are. Yeah. I'm never going to think Lamine Yamal, the way that he plays the game, the grace that he moves, the poise, the end product. I think that this could be his World Cup. I think Spain are a wonderful team. They aren't necessarily the favourites, but they could easily win it, which according to John Barnes doesn't make any sense. I think.
1 second, stop digging out John.
but I also think that I mean Lamine Yamal on this stage at this tournament, it could be breathtaking. It could be his tournament. You know, in the way that various players, Diego Maradona, for example, Pele, for example, have owned tournaments. Yeah. It's been their tournament. Lionel Messi at the last one, perhaps. I think this could be Lamine Yamal's tournament. I can't wait. What about you? Who are you looking forward to seeing?
Yeah, I could piggyback off what you just said, by the way. I almost felt like the Euros was his tournament as well. Remember watching him in that England versus Spain game, the final, and I thought he was fantastic in that game as well. I'm looking forward to seeing Harry Kane. I do. I think he's had a fantastic season for Bayern Munich. What did he get? 60 goals or something? 61 goals, which is just incredible. Because I never thought he was as good as other number 9s that you've always said he has been better than. I've always said, Lewandowski and Karim Benzema. I think this season or the last couple of seasons, he's proven that he's actually with those. We can actually put him in that bracket and conversation now. So I want to see Harry Kane. And I think if England are to do well in this tournament, if he really is to be in that Ballon d'Or conversation, then he's going to need to maybe get those magical 5, 6 and England go to the semis or finals. But I think Harry Kane is certainly a player I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, me too. Look, if you're talking about who's likely to win the Golden Boot, I think Harry Kane is a great shout for it. Whether that means England win the tournament or not, I don't know. But I think you're right. Harry Kane could and needs
the best forward in the world, or because let's be honest,
best centre forward in the world he is.
But I always look at the Bundesliga as a subpar league.
You didn't when Harry Kane. You're being very disingenuous here, Oladipo, because when Harry Kane was doing the business here, and I was saying that he was the best in the world, you told me Lewandowski was because of what Lewandowski was doing.
At Barcelona, wasn't he?
No. At the time he was at Bayern. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, look, Harry Kane has done it wherever he's been given an opportunity. Like you know that season when Erling Haaland went ridiculous and scored 50 goals or whatever.
Yeah.
Harry Kane was a one-man team for Tottenham. Heung-min Son has stopped playing, and Harry Kane nearly outscored Haaland.
You know, I saw this thing Fox did. England's best 10 ever players. Harry Kane was 3rd in the history of England. Fair or not?
Yeah, I would disagree.
Yeah,
I would disagree.
I think
but
it was
do you know what makes
Bobby Charlton, Bobby Moore, Harry Kane.
Do you know what makes it very difficult? Players like Wayne Rooney. Like Wayne Rooney constantly talks about the brilliance of Harry Kane. He actually says that Harry Kane is a better player than he was, which I don't agree with. But it makes it very difficult for me to argue the true beauty and ability of Wayne Rooney when he's really annoyingly saying that Harry Kane was better than him.
I know it's not a numbers thing, but Harry Kane's numbers are ridiculous. All right, who needs a performance?
Look, for England to have any chance of winning it, I think Declan. I'm going to go back to what our Arsenal friend was saying a bit earlier when he called up. The Arsenal fan who had a pop at me. He was right about this. If England are to have any success, Declan Rice needs to have the tournament of his life.
Yeah.
Like if Declan Rice isn't in the player of the tournament conversation, then England haven't won it.
Yeah.
Then England haven't got anywhere. In fact, England could have a good tournament if Ezri Konsa could have a very bad tournament, but England could win it.
Yeah.
England can't win it if Declan Rice has a bad tournament.
Yeah, he needs to be locked up somewhere now in some sort of oxygen chamber and just be protected.
Yeah.
Because he's going to need to be the 6th, the 8th, the 10th.
Yeah. He's got to have the tournament in various matches. I'd say from the last 16 onwards, he needs to be man of the match every game.
Yeah. And he's capable.
So no pressure, Declan.
No, Deck. Easy work for you, Deck.
Light work, mate. He won't break sweat.
Yeah, you're player of the season.
Yeah, won't break sweat. Yeah. What about you? Who do you think needs a tournament? Needs a good tournament?
This is different. This is maybe me with my Liverpool cap on, so I'm being a bit selfish here. Alexander Isak. I think Isak needs to almost remind people as to what he is. Liverpool broke the bank to get him from Newcastle.
Have you got Sweden in a sweepstake?
Yeah.
Talking about Alexander Isak needing
him and Gyökeres. No, it is. No, I just want to see him play good football. I want to see him have, because obviously, look, he got injured against Spurs. His season was just blighted by injuries, and we haven't really seen him have a run. I just want to see him have a good summer, a good World Cup, come back to Andoni Iraola and remind people that he's one of the best strikers in Europe, because I almost feel like that's been completely forgotten, though, the way that Isak actually is one of the best players or best forwards in the world.
I think he'll have a good season next year. Once he finds fitness. He was very unlucky. You think of that foul at Tottenham, wasn't it? Van der Ven.
Yeah.
He scored in the moment where he
got his leg broke.
Yeah, terrible challenge, like reckless. Never ever going to stop the goal. Never ever going to win the ball. But look, once he finds fitness again, he is a class act on his day.
Yeah, you forget about it, don't you? All right, we can sneak in a quick caller actually, which is always nice. We did speak about Liverpool earlier on the show. Andoni Iraola coming in to replace Arne Slot's been given the keys to Anfield on a 2-year deal. We spoke about Alexander Isak there as well. Let's go to Sean, the Liverpool fan. Sean, excited about Andoni Iraola, excited about the players. I still think Liverpool got so many good players, so many. You look through the spine of it, so many good. You must be excited about the season.
Yeah, very. I think Arnie did a good job. I'm not going to take that away from him. But one thing I wasn't very pleased with, which I'm pleased with Andoni's going to do, is give the youth a chance, because Liverpool have got a really good academy.
Can you afford to do that in your first... I agree with you, by the way. It's always good to see young players come through. Look at the young players that have come through. Rio Ingamo of recent. Obviously, Curtis Jones has come through.
We need signings as well. I mean, personally, it might be pushing the boat up, but I'd go for Diamandi on the left. I'd go for Barcola on the right, and then I'd go for Alex Scott in the middle of midfield.
You see, you know the thing about Alex Scott, and by the way, look, Barcola's fantastic for PSG. Is going to be difficult. Diamande probably a bit easier for RB Leipzig. The thing about Alex Scott, isn't he just Gravenberch or Curtis Jones? Doesn't he play in that kind of style of football where he can just break the lines and he's neat and he's tidy? Don't we need a destroyer in that midfield?
Yeah, we do, but I'm worried. But we keep on getting linked with Wharton, and I've got two issues with that. A, he's not really that sort of player, and B, he's got too many injuries for me. And we need somebody. I mean, we've been linked with Sangari, haven't we? He's quite someone I'd look at as well.
You two Liverpool fans have gone wild here. This is a very odd approach. You're linked with Alex Scott and Adam Wharton, and you aren't inspired. Two of the best young players in the Premier League, two of the most exciting and enthralling young midfielders in the Premier League. You've got issues in midfield, and you aren't snapping those two up.
You know what the key part of what you just said there? Young. I've had enough of that. We see that at Chelsea, young. I want proven 26, 27-year-olds right now. I haven't got time for a player to grow into the Liverpool squad now.
Adam Wharton might be young, but he's also very proven. Like Adam Wharton was brilliant. He was brilliant at Blackburn Rovers. Like, he's been about for what, 4 years, 5 years?
You know, see Adam Wharton, yeah? Appreciate the call, Scott. Sorry, Sean, thank you very much. The thing about Adam Wharton, I think you could watch La Liga and find 100 Adam Whartons.
No, that's nonsense. That's absolute nonsense.
I think
you're loving... That's a quote about Jack Wilshere that you've...
Guardiola.
No, that's a Guardiola, Jack Wilshere. That's a Jack Wilshere thing. You can't do that. You can't do that. No, look, Adam Wharton is a supreme talent. And I think Liverpool, if Liverpool had the opportunity to sign him, they should. Whether Liverpool need a little bit of steel in that midfield, whether you should potentially try and sign, I don't know, a Bruno Guimaraes type character. Yeah, I think you could argue.
That's a good show, isn't it?
I think you could argue that. I think you could argue maybe test Newcastle United's resolve for a Bruno Guimaraes. Obviously, it's looking like Tonali will be at least pursued heavily by Manchester United. But you certainly don't turn your nose up at a player with the quality of either Alex Scott or Adam Wharton.
Yeah, Alex Scott will be the cheap, obviously, having worked with Andoni Iraola for a few years. I think he was the fans' player of the season at Bournemouth as well, so clearly a good player. And for Thomas Tuchel to bring him along this journey in the England World Cup squad, and look, he might have a good game against New Zealand tomorrow if he plays, who knows. All right, when we come back, just coming up to 9:45, when we come back, we are going to, with no fence sitting at all, give you our World Cup predictions.
Perez, for his part, has promised he'll appoint Jose Mourinho as manager if he's elected.
She's done it already.
Well, that's what he wants to do, but he's got to get elected to make it official. Riquelme, meantime, for his part, is saying no to Mourinho. He's promised to make Madrid legend Raúl his sporting director and will not appoint Mourinho. He says, if I win the elections, I will bring to Real Madrid a superstar manager, the biggest manager you can imagine. Jose Mourinho is not that manager. He promised also, and this is where it gets interesting, to sign Manchester City midfielder Rodri, as well as Erling Haaland, and then held up a Madrid shirt with Haaland's name on the back of it. And one would think that Manchester City are none too happy about that. Is it arrogant in a presidential...
Good evening, Fame Footballers. Friday, Ade Oladipo, Rory Jennings. We were speaking about England's women's before this game kicked off against Spain. And if they beat Spain 3 times in a row, then it sends out a real message to everyone ahead of the World Cup. Well, they're not going to beat Spain. It is currently 4-0 to the Spaniards, and it could have been a lot more as well. Let's get a reaction from Angelina Kelly as they go into injury time. Angelina, I was saying to Rory, I don't ever remember Sarina Wiegman's side getting beat 4-0.
Absolutely not. I agree. This is set to be a very humbling defeat for the Lionesses as we edge closer to that final whistle. It's been such a disappointing performance, especially with the vast majority of Sarina Wiegman's best players being available. They have looked sloppy across the pitch. Alessia Russo has had next to no service all night. Perhaps there was a bit of fatigue, but to be honest, 7 of Spain's starting 11 were playing for Barcelona less than 2 weeks ago in the Champions League final. So there's absolutely no excuse. Regarding qualification, Spain now have the advantage in their head-to-head against England, meaning that the Lionesses may have to qualify via the playoffs unless they are able to better Spain's result on Tuesday night in their final qualification games. And judging from what I've seen tonight, I don't think they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Angelina, appreciate it. Thank you very much. Spain 4, England 0 in the World Cup Women's Qualifier. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Final call of the night here on the show. Let's go to Nathan, Arsenal fan, who must be very, very excited about where Arsenal are and just what's going on around the league. But I think he wants to have a quick word of you, Mr. Jennings.
Another one.
Another one.
No, I'm going to be nice for once. Goodness sake, Rory. Sorry. Good evening, guys. Great show as normal. I could shower Mr. Oladipo in his fantastic punditry in terms of across all the sports, but Rory, first I want to start by saying you on Drive, phenomenal, genuinely. Fantastic.
Look at that.
That's very kind of you. I didn't expect it to go this way. When people ring up and they're nice, I don't quite know. It rocks me. I'm way more comfortable.
Who did Rory pay for this call? This is throwing me.
That is very kind of you, Nathan. Right, what have I done wrong?
Sorry. So no, I would like to be paid, or I can be nasty. We can choose which one would you like to do.
Be nice. Be nice. A third option.
No, I know. I am joking, but I'm just to revert back to something you, Rory, you said much earlier in the phone call. In the show. Yeah. You mentioned about the quick fix and the easy fix for Liverpool. So obviously, I'm an Arsenal fan, and I am being objective because I can be that. But obviously, we've had our last 3 seasons built around, as you've said, Raya, Gabriel Saliba, a very, very strong defence. I think people kind of ignore Timber to some degree because I think he's one of the best in Europe. But anyway, moving forward, you said about there being quick fixes, and you even half mentioned Ekitike and Isak as a 2 up front, which I think was fantastic as an idea. But I want to bring up one idea, because you're a Chelsea fan and you have a Liverpool fan who's hosting the show. When I think it was the 2 of you on a show about 9 months ago, I think I called up and I made a comment. I think I was mocked for it to the point where I think it became one of the advertisement comments on talkSPORT about Liverpool playing a back 2 because Kirkes just bombs down the left and Frimpong plays right wing. I said, so Liverpool want to play a back 2 this season, which kind of did happen. So I'm just going to point that out as I told you so sort of moment.
Congratulations.
Well done.
No, you are welcome, because Arsenal fans generally are right because we win the league. But
Here we go.
No. I'm going to be serious for a second. I made the point to those answering the phone, and they called me back because, Rory, you've experienced Thiago Silva, a very, very much older gentleman in the Premier League, the hardest league in the world, but playing at the centre of it. So for me, when I hear about Iraola managing Liverpool, this is as an Arsenal fan who understands the importance of being defensive to then take steps forward, and the attacking options that Liverpool have already on the books.
Yeah.
If I think about, before you jump on attacking me,
okay,
a semi-back three with Virgil van Dijk in the middle of it as the older gentleman, but then you have Kerkez and Frimpong playing the wing-back roles that they were clearly designed to play in the first place. That, for me, is a great foundation because you've already got two fantastic world-class goalkeepers anyway at Liverpool. You've got one of the most experienced, world-class over the last, 5-6 years centre-backs who can distribute balls a bit. Don't cut me off, Mr. Rory Jennings. Distribute the balls like John Terry could do, left and right foot, both sides of the pitch, playing him in the centre. You do, yes, Konate's left now, but if you have two centre-backs that you've mentioned before, I think you said Murillo and Milinkovic, etc., but then let Frimpong and Kerkez play the positions they were meant to play, and then skip forward to you saying play two up front, Isak and Ekitike, then me as an Arsenal fan, I would have a degree of fear about that because that sounds very, very strong.
I think you're onto something, Nathan. I don't think, whilst Liverpool, if you adopt a glass half full approach to them, I think that you can say that they are in trouble. I think you can say that replacing Mohamed Salah is impossible. You can say that the team that won them the league, the team that won them the European Cup, out of that back five, if you include the keeper, only Van Dijk is left. The rest are all gone. So that could almost be seen as a crisis. They let Trent Alexander-Arnold go for a nominal 10 million quid. Robertson's gone for free. Konate's gone for... it's all crisis. And on some level, that's true if they don't replace anyone. I just think that the solutions are a tap-in. And I think you've touched on them there. Ekitike played up front when he was at Frankfurt in a 2 with Marmoush, actually, who went to City. They played in a 2 up front. So he's done it before. Florian Wirtz behind Ekitike and Alexander Isak is potentially devastating. And Andoni Iraola is a kind of manager that can make that work. Great call, Nathan.
It's a good call. Honestly, it really is. My only problem with that is that I don't think Frimpong's good enough, whether it be a right wing, right back, any right-sided position for him. But very quickly, let's get to some World Cup predictions, right? Best player in the World Cup?
Lamine Yamal will be the best player in the World Cup.
Okay.
You?
Kylian Mbappe. I think he's fantastic. Okay. I think he's absolutely... I can't believe the stick Real Madrid are giving him. It shocks me. Consider how many goals he scored.
It's because he was made a de facto sporting director at Paris Saint-Germain. He's become too big. He's become too powerful.
Yeah, they've given him things rather than just be a player. It's
an element of entitlement,
which is incredible. Yeah, and that's I guess what you now do to get these players. Top goal scorer?
Harry Kane. Harry Kane can win a Golden Boot.
Can do.
Do you know who else can? Do you know who could score a lot of goals for England this World Cup?
England?
Yeah, I think Marcus Rashford could score a lot of goals.
Yeah.
He's the type of player that will score a hat-trick in the third game.
Okay, fair.
Who do you think?
Mbappe again.
Okay.
Every answer here is Mbappe, by the way. Most underrated team?
Japan.
Okay, yeah. Go on, name me one Japanese fan. Yeah.
I'm going Japan.
No, joking. Okay, I'm going Senegal.
Okay.
I think AFCON winners, I think they might be.
I got Uruguay. I got Uruguay in my sweepstake.
Have you?
Yeah. They got any Charles Bielsa?
They've gone mental, by the way, in Uruguay about their lack of forwards.
I have that.
They kind of done a post the other day about Cavani, Diego Floran and Suarez, and they said, who have we got now?
Really?
And they'll go mental with it because they thought Suarez might get that swan song.
He's 40.
I know, but the way that messes...
I need them to win it. I'm on for 180 quid if they win it.
What charity are you going to give that to? Mr. Jennings, the charity of Jennings.
Charity of my back pocket.
Yeah. Biggest disappointment?
Biggest disappointment could possibly be England.
Yeah.
The biggest disappointment could definitely... Do you know who else? It's very difficult to predict it, but Are Brazil going to be good?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
have you seen what they've got?
Okay, so you think
Brazil have got everything.
Okay, let's play this game. Are Brazil going to be good?
Very good.
Could Portugal, considering the players that we've discussed, could they self-implode? Cristiano Ronaldo, Roberto Martinez.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Could they press the self-destruct button?
Yeah.
Could France?
This is all about brand Ronaldo.
I've been watching an amazing Netflix documentary about Ramon Domenech in South Africa. Have you seen it, about the bus?
No.
The French could also shoot themselves in the foot.
They could.
Who else?
You know the problem with France as well now? You know, it's not Mbappe anymore, is it? There's so many of them.
Yeah.
There's about 8 of them that are like Mbappe, like sort of spin-offs.
Yeah.
That all think they're the greatest players in the world. Elise with the fingers to the lips, and Dembele, the Ballon d'Or.
What about the holders, the reigning holders? Could they flop?
Nah, Messi just control. They could flop, but they got to bow to Messi. All right, go on. Who wins the World Cup? Final one, very quickly. Not who you want to win. Oh, stop.
Okay, seriously.
Yeah.
Spain or Argentina? Spain or Argentina?
France or Spain?
Spain or Argentina?
France or Spain?
And probably Spain.
Probably Spain.
When you're playing against Spain in these conditions, you can't get a ball off them.
Did you watch the National League Nations League final between Spain and France?
No.
One of the greatest football.
I don't recognise the Nations League.
Did you watch it? It's a football match. Do you recognise football matches?
I don't recognise the legitimacy of the Nations League. It'd be like asking me, did I watch the Conference League final? No, anyway, I don't recognise the legitimacy.
Drive next week for you.
Drive next week.
Next week. Sir Jeff Hurst, one of your guests. Look how big they've got. Look at that. Rory Jennings gets Sir Jeff Hurst. Look at that.
Mate, I'm going to be so starstruck and honoured.
Make sure you call him Sir as well.
I will.
No, just in case. All right, up next, Sports Bar Weekend. Adam Cattrall and Darren Ambrose.
Crookie, what about Elliot Anderson? We're led to believe that